A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio. A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Mr. Chameleon and the Perfect Maid Murder Case. Tonight we again present the famous Mr. Chameleon of Central Police Headquarters in his famous cases of crime and murder. Brought to you by the makers of genuine Bayer aspirin. Mr. Chameleon, as you know, is the famous and dreaded detective who frequently uses a disguise to track down a killer. A disguise which at all times is recognized by the audience. Tonight we give you Mr. Chameleon in The Perfect Maid Murder Case. The scene opens in one of New York's most fabulous mansions, the home of Raymond Colby. And we see a young woman about to leave. Her hand is on the knob of the front door when she is interrupted by a maid whom we hear saying the words that lead to a gruesome, fantastic murder.
Excuse me, Miss Laura. Can I see you a moment before you go?
I haven't any time now, Fanny.
But this is important, Miss Laura. Terrible important.
Well, what is it then?
I want to give my notice, Mum.
Your notice? You mean you're leaving? Well, I thought you were a fixture in this house, Fanny.
But that's just it, Mum. I am a fixture here.
Then what's this talk about giving notice? What's wrong? If it's more wages...
Oh, it's not that, Mum. It's that...
Yes?
It's that I'm going to marry your father.
Your what?
Going to marry your father, that's what. Oh, well, it don't seem to set very well with you, but...
Are you completely and utterly mad? This is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, it is it? Well, let me tell you, I'm as good as you are.
Pack up your things and get out of this house as fast as you can.
I'm not packing, and I'm not leaving. I'm marrying into this house. Just put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Get out instantly, I say.
I'm not going any further than my own room. You'll find me there if you want to be coming up later and telling me you're sorry. Ta-ta, dearie.
John! John, come here! John!
Don't shout, Laura. I heard it all. Great heavens, what a mess.
We can't let Father do this. He's gone mad. Ooh, that cheap, terrible creature.
I tell you, Laura, hysterics won't help. Besides, we don't want to wake the old man up and get him on our necks. We've got to think fast.
But what are we going to do? What can we do? Oh, this is too dreadful.
Listen, Laura, listen.
Yes?
You stay right here, Laura, and watch every door. Be as loud as you can if anybody comes.
You mean Father or that horrible Fanny?
Anybody. I've got the combination. The Father's safe.
He's safe. What are you going to do, John?
I know he keeps his will there. That's the first thing to do. He may have changed it in Fanny's favor. If he did, I'll burn it up.
And sometime later, we hear the Commissioner of Police assigning another famous murder case to the astute and feared Mr. Chameleon, the man of many faces and disguises.
Oh, here you are, Chameleon. A murder in Park Avenue.
Oh, top drawer case, eh, Commissioner?
Well, that's for you to decide, old man. The murder occurred in the Raymond Colby house.
You mean the mysteriously rich Raymond Colby's been killed?
No, not Colby himself, Chameleon. A maid in his house. A girl named Fanny Bilkins. Throat slashed open. Better get out there.
Righto, Commissioner. I'll take Detective Dave Arnold with me. Yeah. Oh, here you are, Dave.
Yes, sir.
You come with me, please. Bye, Commissioner.
I suppose the case we're on is that parlor maid murder at Raymond Colby's house.
Yes, that's it, Dave.
I guess it'll be one of those jobs where the chauffeur killed some poor girl because he was in love with her and caught the butler getting away with her.
I've no idea, Dave. Let's get the car and buzz out there. Well, personally, I'd be more interested if old Colby himself was the victim. I hear he's a queer character, the absent-minded professor type. He invented something somewhere that made him fabulously rich.
Here's the house, Mr. Chameleon.
Yes, with a very pretty girl already holding the door open. Come ahead.
Oh, I'm so glad you came. You are from the police, aren't you?
Yes, my name is Chameleon. This is Detective Arnold. And you are...
I'm Laura Colby. Come in, Mr. Chameleon.
Thank you.
I'm rather surprised to see you here.
Surprised, Miss Laura? Why?
We didn't expect to see such a famous detective as you on an unimportant case like this.
Murder is always important.
Judy O'Grady or the judge's lady? I see.
I understand the girl who was murdered was a housemaid in your father's house, Miss Laura.
Practically nothing, Mr. Chameleon, except that she was a perfect maid, really marvelous. And that she had perfectly wonderful references when she came.
When was that?
Oh, I don't really remember. A couple of years ago. You know how those things are.
Who found her body? One of the other help in the house, I suppose.
No. As a matter of fact, my father did. He and my brother John, that is.
Yes?
Well, what actually happened was that one of the other servants, our cook, became annoyed when Fanny didn't turn up to serve breakfast this morning. She thought she'd overslept. But when she knocked on Fanny's door and she didn't answer, she became alarmed and called my father.
So he and your brother went up there?
And when they opened the door, they found her dead. Father was very much upset, and so was my brother.
Odd that the cook didn't open the door herself when she got no answer to her knock.
Why, I hadn't thought of that. Oh, but I'm sure the cook wouldn't have killed her just because Fanny overslept.
No, scarcely, Miss Laura. Dave.
Yes, Mr. Chameleon?
You go to the kitchen and talk to that cook. Find out what you can.
I'm sure Cook can't tell you any more than I have, Mr. Chameleon.
One never knows, Miss Laura. She may be concealing something from you.
I'll talk to the cook now, Mr. Chameleon.
I don't. In the meanwhile, Miss Laura, perhaps your father or your brother will take me up to see the murdered girl's body.
John's in the drawing room, Mr. Chameleon. This door here.
Well,
Oh, John, this is Mr. Chameleon, the famous detective.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Chameleon? Horrible thing, isn't it? But one never knows what will happen with servants these days, does one?
what happened here, however, is a bit out of the usual run. Your sister says that you lead me to the murder room.
Well, of course, Mr. Chameleon. I don't like the job, but just follow me.
Thank you.
Here are the servants' stairs.
By the way, John, do you know anything about the murdered girl? I mean, do you ever notice anything strange about her? Signs of being afraid of something, upset, anything like that?
It's a funny thing, Mr. Chameleon. I never notice any servant particularly. To me, they're just faceless people. All I know is that my sister always said Fanny was the perfect maid. Laura's all in a dither. Says she'll never find another one like her. Oh, but here's her room.
Just about the size of a cell.
What?
Nothing. Poor girl. A horrible sight. Her head is almost severed.
If you're finished with me, Mr. Chameleon, I'd like to get out of here.
Oh, yes, I understand, John. I'm sorry. I forgot that we policemen are more accustomed to sights like this than people like you. Yes, you go back to the drawing room. I'll see you there presently.
Thank you, Mr. Chameleon.
Poor Fanny. Poor child. But if the dead can hear, you'll hear me promising to bring your murderer to the execution chamber.
Mr. Chameleon? Nothing from the cook except what Laura Colby already told us. But get this.
Yes, Dave?
Just as I was talking to the cook, the girl's father came in.
The murdered girl's father, Dave?
Uh-huh. A man named Ed Bilkins. He started accusing everybody of murder. He's pretty wild. I told him to stay put, that you'd talk to him.
Oh, the poor devil.
Wait till you get a load of him, Mr. Chameleon. He looks like a bad customer to me. Not so sorry as he acts. But that don't mean I think he killed the girl.
Dave, you call the morgue and have this body picked up. And here is the knife that slashed her throat. You send it in for prints.
Okay, Mr. Chameleon.
And then hold the murdered girl's father down below. I want to talk to John Colby and his father first. Well, John, feeling a bit more steady now? Forgive me for bringing you back to the murder room.
It's all right, Mr. Chameleon. Took a drink and feel better. Well, this is my father, Raymond Colby. Father, this is Mr. Chameleon.
Huh? Mr. what? Didn't catch the name.
Chameleon of Central Police Headquarters, Mr. Colby.
Police headquarters, you say? John, what's a police officer doing here?
Investigating the murder of your maid, Fanny Bilkins, Mr. Colby.
Oh, to be sure. You know, things slip my memory, sir. And you say your name is,
Chameleon, Mr. Colby. Chameleon.
Unfortunate thing here, Mr. Cranston.
Chameleon.
Oh, yes. Chameleon. Last thing I ever expected in my house, murder. Just one of the servants. Probably got herself into trouble. Queer lot, servants. Queer lot. Never know about them.
But still human, Mr. Colby. They sing and sigh, laugh and weep, feel happiness and sorrow just like you and me. Only probably suffer more.
Quite right, quite right. I didn't think policemen thought that way, though. Well, what can I do for you?
Tell me any little thing that you might know about the girl who was so inconsiderate as to be murdered in your quiet home. Why do you think, for instance, that she was killed?
I've no idea. Never paid any attention to her, no attention at all. My daughter Laura runs the house. You better ask her.
I did, and she told me just as little as you and your son John have, Mr. Colby. But I'll...
Mr. Chameleon.
Yes, Dave?
You'd better come downstairs and talk to the man I told you was here. He's got something for you, something plenty hot.
What man, Mr. Chameleon?
After I see him, I'll tell you, John.
He's going to tear this case wide open, John. Wide open.
Tear it open, Detective Arnold? That's ridiculous.
Never mind, son. I fancy it's someone of Fanny's own class, and that it'll all turn out that a grocer's clerk or delivery boy killed Fanny.
Perhaps, Mr. Colby. I'll see you later, Mr. Colby.
John, get Laura in here right away.
What for, Father?
If you don't manage to hold yourself in, you and Laura will find yourselves up on a murder charge. Our Mr. Chameleon's one of the most penetrating men I've ever met. Up to the time you revealed excitement, our story was going down perfectly. Now be careful, my boy. I beg of you. I don't want to see my children convicted of murder.
What did the murdered girl's father tell you, Dave, to make you think he'd break this case wide open?
You better hear it from his own lips, Mr. Chameleon.
Oh.
He's here in the butler's pantry.
Oh, all right.
Mr. Bilkins, here's Mr. Chameleon. Now tell him what you told me.
It's bad, terrible I ever brought my innocent daughter to this country, Mr. Chameleon. That's how she was done in.
What do you mean, Mr. Bilkins? Brought her to this country?
Didn't this here busy tell you, Mr. Chameleon?
Detective Arnold wanted me to hear the story direct from you, Bilkins. Now, let's have it, please.
Fanny and me come from Australia, where we should have stayed. And then she'd never have gone into service in this old duffer's house.
Well, I still don't know what you mean, Bilkins.
What I'm trying to drive home, sir, is that Fanny wouldn't have got herself engaged to marry the old man.
Do you mean to say that your daughter, Fanny, was going to marry Raymond Colby?
I'm not lying when I say it, Mr. Chameleon. I warned her proper about marrying out of her class. But Fanny had got American ideas into her head quick. Wouldn't listen to her father. And it all wound up in her being killed. Butchered like an animal.
Are you certain that your daughter was going to marry this fabulously rich man?
Look here. Here's a wedding license, Mr. Chameleon. She gave it to me, saying Mr. Colby didn't want it round the house, feared his son or daughter might find it. But they must have caught on some other way, sir. And that's why they killed her.
Dave, this is astounding. This license is genuine. Fanny Bilkins, age 24. Raymond Colby, 56.
It's on the up all right, Mr. Chameleon. I had it checked myself.
I'm taking the blame for Fanny's murder on myself, Mr. Chameleon. I'm her father. I should have given her a good thumping and made her leave this house. The likes of her thinking of marrying the likes of him. I always say that everyone stay in his own class.
Mr. Bilkins, come with me.
Where to, sir?
Upstairs to the drawing room, where I think we'll find Mr. Colby and his son, John.
Don't make me face him now, Mr. Chameleon. I can't face my daughter's dirty murderers. I can't do it, sir. I can't.
I understand, Bilkins. You wait here, then. Detective Arnold and I will go up alone.
You're a real gentleman, sir. Thank you. I'll never forget your kindness, sir.
Dave, come along.
If ever I saw one for the book, Mr. Chameleon, this is it.
If it's true, Dave, if it's true.
What? Well, don't you believe it? You saw the marriage license, didn't you?
Yes, indeed, Dave. And I also saw the shifty look in the bereaved Mr. Bilkins' eyes. If I were looking for a babysitter, it wouldn't be Bilkins. Now, here's the drawing room now. I expected to find your father and brother here.
They're in Father's study, Mr. Chameleon.
I've just talked to your murdered maid's father.
So they have fathers, too.
Just as you and I, Laura. But tell me.
Yes.
When was your father, Raymond Colby, going to marry Fanny Bilkins?
Oh, I didn't realize detectives on duty kidded people, Mr. Chameleon.
Then you didn't know?
Know what?
You know what. Answer the question.
If you expect me to answer a ridiculous question like that, Mr. Chameleon... Are you serious? Imagine Father marrying a housemaid. It's too silly.
That the door to the study, Laura?
Well, yes. I'll tell Father you want to see him.
Don't trouble, thank you. I'll go in alone. And you stay here. I hope I'm not interrupting, Mr. Colby. Oh. I see you have your safe open. Something lost?
Father has an idea he misplaced his will, Mr. Chameleon.
I'm on the forgetful side, Mr. Chameleon. I'll find it later.
Why not look in the fireplace, Mr. Colby? Wait a second.
In the fireplace, Mr. Chameleon?
Yes, John? Yes, here is what is left of your father's will. All but the top burned away, though. Do you mind telling me why you tried to destroy it, John?
My son didn't, Mr. Chameleon. Probably did it myself. I do such utterly stupid things without thinking.
Like arranging to marry your housemaid, Mr. Colby?
What is this, Mr. Chameleon? Father planning to marry
That murdered girl, John. Murdered.
Oh, Mr. Chameleon, what in heaven's name gives you the idea Father was going to marry her?
This marriage license, John.
Marriage license?
John, I told you before that Mr. Chameleon was a very penetrating man. Trying to deceive him would be unfair to him and us.
Then you were going to marry her, Mr. Colby?
Oh, no. Not at all, Mr. Chameleon. I really don't know why I took out that marriage license.
But I'm sure it wasn't done simply to keep a perfect maid. Come, Mr. Colby, don't you think it's time to stop trying to protect your children?
Why should he try to protect Laura and me, Mr. Chameleon? We didn't kill that girl.
In my entire experience, I've never met with a clearer motive for murder. Never. Dave?
Right here, Mr. Chameleon.
Oh.
What do we do, arrest John and Laura?
No, not now, Dave. Bring the murdered girl's father in here immediately, and then we'll...
That's what I came up here to tell you, Mr. Chameleon. Bilkins slipped out of the house while I went into the kitchen to get a drink of water.
What?
I sent out a general alarm for him.
Have this house guarded, Dave. And get this straight, Mr. Colby. If either your son or daughter attempts to leave here, they'll be taken in on suspicion of willful murder.
Mr. Chameleon and the Perfect Maid murder case continues in just a moment. When you have a cold, you need Bayer aspirin. Need it because it's important to you that you get quick relief from the headachy, feverish feeling and the muscular aches and pains that almost always accompany a cold. And because Bayer aspirin gives you this important relief, it should be taken at the first sign of a cold before you do anything else. Regardless of what you do to stop or shorten a cold, we believe your own doctor will tell you that this is sound advice. And it's advice you can follow with confidence, for Bayer aspirin is used by millions to treat these distressing symptoms. It provides amazingly fast relief, makes you feel better, because it's ready to go to work in 2 seconds. And its single active ingredient is so gentle to the system that doctors prescribe it even for small children. That's why it's been used by millions of normal people without ill effect. So at the first sign of a cold, before you do anything else, take Bayer aspirin. When you buy, ask for Bayer aspirin, not just for aspirin alone. Get the 100-tablet bottle and you get Bayer aspirin tablets for less than a penny apiece. And now back to Mr. Chameleon and the Perfect Maid murder case. Fanny Bilkins has been viciously murdered in the home of wealthy Raymond Colby, where she worked as a housemaid. Mr. Chameleon has discovered that Colby had planned to marry Fanny in spite of the bitter protests of his son John and his daughter Laura. During the investigation, the murdered girl's father, Edward Bilkins, has disappeared from the Colby home. But an hour later, when Mr. Chameleon impatiently paces his office at headquarters, he suddenly finds that no general alarm was required to bring in Bilkins. for a strange surprise awaits him as Detective Dave Arnold rushes into his office saying,
Mr. Chameleon, I just brought in Fanny Bilkins' father in an ambulance.
In an ambulance, Dave?
He's got a knife cut straight down his left cheek. Didn't miss his throat by half an inch. But the ambulance doc patched him up on the way in, and now he's squawking loud to see you. He says...
Get him in here, Dave.
Come in, Bilkins.
Bilkins, what happened? Who tried to get you? I'll get down to the point without wasting words.
Very good, sir. But it was a near one. Not satisfied with cruelly murdering my daughter, Fanny.
Who?
Raymond Colby. But I mean his son, John. But the fact is, I don't know for
Where
sure.
did the attack take place, Bilkins?
In the old duffer's study, that's where.
What were you doing there?
Nothing, sir, nothing. Just nosing around.
It won't do, Bilkins. Out with it.
Mr. Chameleon, here's a bag the boys took off Bilkins on the way in.
Give it to me, Mr. Copper. I never seen it before. Fanny gave it to me.
Looks like about $500,000 in jewels, Bilkins. And they look familiar. Very familiar.
But I don't know anything about them.
Dave, put Bilkins on detention. I got the answer to this case.
Look here, Chameleon, I got rights. Those jewels were planted on
Come along,
me.
Bilkins. Chose your own car, did you? I'll be right back, Mr. Chameleon.
Right on. Hello?
Mr. Chameleon, this is John Colby.
Yes?
Most of my dead mother's jewelry has been stolen.
Who discovered the loss, John?
Our butler did. Caught the robber in the act, but he got away. Can you come out here right away?
Not just now, John. You said only part of your mother's jewelry was stolen?
The butler came in the room just in time to save the rest.
I have got the stolen jewels, John. And the robber, too.
You've got the jewels and the robber both?
I'm pretty positive I have, John. But I want to make sure before I definitely charge the man that we're holding.
Well, what do you mean, Mr. Chameleon?
Instead of coming myself, John, I'm going to send one of our expert jewel men out there. And he'll bring the jewels I have here out, too, for identification.
I wish you'd come yourself, Mr. Chameleon, instead of... What's that, Father? All right, I'll ask Mr. Chameleon. Sorry, Mr. Chameleon, but Father suggests...
Yes?
Father's worried about anybody coming but you, Mr. Chameleon. So is my sister, Laura. Can't you come yourself?
I'm sorry, I'm not a jewel expert. I'm sending our head man, Pierre-Antoine, out right away. And then I'll follow later. Goodbye, John.
What's all that about, Mr. Chameleon? Are you going out to Colby's in disguise?
Right you are, Dave. Disguised as Pierre-Antoine, the police department's chief man on jewels. Now, you will come with me. And the instant we get there and you introduce me, arrest John and Laura Colby on my orders.
Well, orders are orders, but I don't get you, Mr. Chameleon. Why not pinch them and be done with it?
Because I need the evidence I think their father, Raymond Colby, will give me, Dave.
And so, a little later, we find Detective Arnold with Mr. Chameleon in his disguise as Pierre-Antoine at the murder house, as Dave Arnold says.
Evening, everybody. This gentleman is the police department's jewel expert. Mr. Chameleon sent him out.
Pierre-Antoine at your service. You, Mr. Raymond Colby, monsieur?
Yes, Mr. Antoine. This is my daughter, Laura.
Mademoiselle.
How do you do?
And my son, John.
Monsieur Jean. May we all sit down? Or perhaps you, Mademoiselle Laura, will be so kind as to bring the remaining jewels from the robbery for me to see.
Sorry, Monsieur Antoine, but Mr. Chameleon ordered me to arrest this lady and her brother and bring them back to headquarters.
That is absurd, Detective Arnold. Surely Mr. Chameleon is making a mistake.
Mr. Chameleon is a fool.
We won't go, Laura. Detective Arnold can't arrest us without a warrant.
Here's the warrant, John. Better come quietly.
John, you can only cause yourself and Laura trouble by not going with Detective Arnold.
But, Father...
You've got the right idea, Mr. Colby. Now, come on, John and Laura. No point getting tough about it.
My compliment to Mr. Chameleon, Detective Arnold. And be good enough to express my opinion that he is making a most stupid blunder. Arresting two such charming young people.
Stupid or not, I'm taking them, Monsieur Antoine. Good night.
Good night. Oh, it's a dreadful contretemps, Monsieur Colby. I thought better of that Chameleon. But there is your police mind.
Mr. Antoine, did you bring the jewels recovered from the man who robbed my safe?
In this very bag, Monsieur Colby. The robber was the father of the housemaid murdered here today. Your fiancé, I'm told.
Hand over those jewels, Chameleon.
What?
Shut up, Chameleon. I'm doing the talking now. Give me that bag, quick. They're the only evidence you've got that I killed that infernal housemaid, Fanny Bilkins. Now, let's have them.
When I take you in, Raymond Colby, it'll be for 2 murders. But, anyway, here are the jewels.
You're not taking me in.
No?
By the time they find your body, Chameleon, I'll be out of the country. Got any last wishes, cop?
Mm-hmm. I'd like to tell you how I caught up with you, Raymond Colby.
I'm interested, but hold your gab to 3 minutes.
Through a careful study of police records extending from New York to Sydney, Australia. You murdered the woman who owned those jewels, Lady Ashton Burl, in Australia 5 years ago.
That's past history, Chameleon, but suppose I did.
The one living man who knew you did was your murdered housemaid's father, a petty criminal named Ed Bilkins. And he followed you here, forced you to hire his daughter Fanny as a maid in your house, and then blackmailed you into a promise to marry her with your mysteriously and criminally acquired wealth.
Anything else, Chameleon? You've got 30 seconds left.
Only this, Raymond. Don't move, Colby. You hear me, Colby? I said don't move. That's odd. He doesn't answer. Colby? What? Oh, why did I have to become a policeman? Police headquarters? This is Chameleon. Connect me with Detective Arnold, please. Dave? Listen, Dave. Send the dead wagon out, please. Yes, the dead wagon. Well, I'm afraid I killed a man. Yes, the murder of Fanny Bilkins. I hit a fatal spot by mistake. I know, Dave, it's all in the line of duty, but still...
And with these words, Mr. Chameleon concludes tonight's murder case. Have you ever tried breaking an aspirin tablet to give your children the dosage your doctor has prescribed? If you have, then you'll appreciate the new children's size Bayer aspirin tablets. These tablets are genuine Bayer aspirin, but they contain only half the amount of the regular size Bayer aspirin tablets, and thus you can give your child the proper dosage as prescribed by your physician, and you can do it conveniently. And because they're made so you can break them right in half, it's also easy for you to give still smaller dosages whenever necessary. Another thing you'll appreciate is that they're uncolored and unflavored and therefore cannot be mistaken for candy, and you can use them with confidence. For the fact that doctors prescribe Bayer aspirin single active ingredient even for the smallest children shows how gentle and dependable it is. The bottle and carton are plainly marked children's size Bayer aspirin. 30 tablets for 25 cents. Listen next Wednesday night at the same time for Mr. Chameleon, the man of many faces, in The Greenhouse Murder Case. The part of Mr. Chameleon is played by Carl Swenson, with dialogue by Frank Hummert from the original story by Frank and Ann Hummert. Music directed by Victor Arden. The members of our cast join with our sponsors in wishing all their listeners a Merry Christmas. Your announcer is Howard Claney.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is chair. C-H-A-I-R.
Really?
You bet your life. Elgin America, creator of America's most beautiful compacts, smartest cigarette cases, magic action lighters, finest dresser sets, presents Groucho Marx in the Elgin American show, You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here's that sterling Elgin American, the one, the only...
Last time I saw him, he was coming down the chimney. Oh, that's me, Groucho Marx. Thank you. Well, here I am again, old Kris Kringle Marx, with $1,000 for one of our couples tonight. George Fenneman, who's first to try for us?
We invited some messenger boys to the show tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Harvey Crater, and here he comes with his partner Fred Knopf, who was selected because of his unusual occupation. Gentlemen, meet Groucho Marx.
Merry Christmas and welcome for Elgin American Complex. And if one of you says the secret word, he wins a 16-millimeter Apollo sound movie projector. It's a common word, something you use every day. You're a messenger boy?
That I am.
What do you work for?
Oh, the Red Arrow Bonded Messenger Corporation.
Where are you from?
Oh, back east.
Far east or the Middle East?
Oh, I think it's more about the middle. Iron River, Michigan.
Oh, that Middle East, I see. Of course, it's obvious you weren't born at home. Messenger boy would have to be born in the delivery room. Are you married?
No.
Do you have a girl?
Oh, that I have.
Mm-hmm. Nice girl. What does she look like?
She kind of resembles you.
Can't you get another girl? Mr. Fred Knoth, is that?
That's right.
You were chosen from the audience because of an unusual occupation. What's unusual about your job, Mr. Knoth?
Well, I manufacture bottles to break over people's heads, make rain, snow, fire, earthquakes, anything of that nature.
What's so unusual about that, huh?
Well, I'd like to clarify that a little bit.
I wish you would, huh?
I'm one of the supervisors of the special effects department at Universal International Studio, and that's my job to do the special effects required for picture work.
Do you do any special work around Christmas? For example, could you make it snow?
Sure.
What do you use for snow? Cornflakes?
Cornflakes.
With strawberries and cream, or just straight cornflakes? Have you ever thought of using snow?
That's too tough here in California.
What's the toughest job you ever tackled in the movie business? Making an earthquake?
No, an earthquake is very easy. I think one of the toughest assignments I ever had was getting some chickens to fly out of a piano. The gag was that when they opened the piano, the chickens were supposed to fly out. When we tried this, nothing happened. So we finally had to just put a wire on each and every one of the chickens and yank the whole works out at once.
What picture was this in?
That was in an Olson & Johnson picture.
Well, that explains it. What do you do on your job, Harvey?
Pick up and delivery.
Just what do you deliver?
Well, anything.
Could you deliver the Republican vote?
It would have to be something to fit in the station wagon.
What's that?
It would have to be something to fit in the station wagon.
Well, the vote they got in the last election, you could put in the station wagon. Not only you could put it in the station wagon, you could put it in the glove compartment. Where do you get most of your business, Mr. Crater?
Well, from department stores. Anybody who needs emergency delivery service in a hurry.
Mm-hmm. And how do you handle these emergency calls? In the jet plane?
No, we use a station wagon, but in the downtown area, we like to use bicycles.
You use a bicycle for speed?
Well, sure, I can make better time downtown on a bike than you can in an automobile.
Maybe downtown, but not on Mulholland Drive. Well, you both certainly have interesting jobs, and now George has the perfect Christmas gift from our sponsor.
Yes, Groucho, a perfect Christmas gift for any woman. And I'm sure Mr. Knoth's wife will love this sterling silver compact engraved in 14-karat gold. And Harvey's girlfriend will love one just like it. They're by Elgin American, of course.
You're a garrulous fellow, aren't you? Anything embarrassing ever happen on your job, Harvey? Such as delivering a message the same day it was given to you?
No, not on the job. But something did happen to me at a party when I was awful embarrassing.
What was that?
Well, it seemed we got involved in a kissing game. And I don't know how it happened, but a hook from my partial plate got caught in between her teeth. And when
slower. I didn't... Where was your girl while this was going on? The one that looks like me. Huh? Don't think I'll ever forget that, huh? And don't think she ever will either. Well,
Well, anyway, when I finally broke away...
Did you sing thanks for the memory?
She said it was a time and a place for everything.
Now I know why your girl looks like me. Now, what's the most valuable item you ever delivered, Lightning?
Well, it was a piece of jewelry valued at $5,000.
You mean they trusted you, a perfect stranger, with all that stuff?
Oh, sure. We're all bonded.
So's old Granddad. I've seen him disappear pretty fast. Well, you certainly make an unusual team, and I hope you'll be very happy together. In just 1 minute, you're going to work together as a team for $1,000. But first, listen to this.
It's almost the night before Christmas, and there's plenty stirring at our house. Gifts to deliver, cards to address, and we're far from broke, even giving the best. Elgin American.
The loveliest dresser set for swanky Aunt Carrie. That sensational lighter case for smooth Uncle Harry.
And Mother's Elgin American simulated pearls. Gorgeous strands, earrings, and rope. She'll let me borrow them, I hope.
Yes, our magnificent compact magic action lighter and cigarette cases just couldn't be righter than Elgin American makes them. And talk about values. Elgin American beats them all. Looks like $1 million for prices so small.
And there's also American Beauty to save you even more. It's Elgin American's companion line, the extra thrifty adore.
So these last 3 days, do as millions have done. Buy the finest gifts made by the only, the one, Elgin American.
All right, let's see if you two will get a chance at the $1,000 question. You're going to play You Bet Your Life. Pen them and bring them up to date on the rules.
Each of our 3 couples has $20. They bet as much of that 20 as they want on each of 4 questions. The couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $1,000 question at the end of the show. Our other 2 couples are in a waiting room off stage, so they don't know what's going on out here.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected songs that ask questions as your category. Is that right?
Right.
Now, how much of the $20 you're going to risk?
$10.
$10. All right. Jerry Fielding will play, and you give me the title of the song. Play, Jerry. Is it true when they say about Dixie is right?
And they're on their way with $30.
Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. How much of your $30 are you going to try?
20.
Give me the title of this song.
How much do you love me?
One answer between you now.
How deep is the ocean?
How deep is the ocean is right, huh?
Now they have $50.
All right, here's your third question. How much of the 50 will you try?
45.
$45. All right. What's the name of this song? The name of that is Don't You Love Me Anymore. You've got $5. Now, how much you going to bet now?
$3, I guess.
No, we're shoot the 5.
All right, you're going for $5. What is the name of this song? It asks a question. Good and loud, and what is it?
You remember? Remember me.
Remember me is right, sir.
And they wind up with $10.
Thanks and good luck from Elgin American. Now stick around. You might still get a chance at the $1,000 question.
Groucho, the secret word is still chair. Perhaps our next couple will say it. Just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected a school teacher and a housewife. And here they are, Miss Betty Pearson and Mrs. Julie Gibson. Meet Groucho Marx.
Merry Christmas, girls. And if one of you says the secret word, she wins a 16-millimeter Apollo sound movie projector. It's a common word, something you use every day. Teachers like that when I went to school. I wonder if I couldn't take another course or 2. School teacher and a housewife, eh? You're the housewife, huh?
Yes.
Miss Julie Gibson, huh? Oh, you're the school teacher?
Yes,
Betty
I'm
Betty
the school
Jane
teacher.
Pearson, huh? Where are you from, Betty?
Well, I'm from Whittier. It's about 12 miles east of Los Angeles.
What does your husband do, Betty?
I don't have a husband.
Well, then you probably don't know what he does, huh? Well, that's the best way to keep a husband happy if you don't know what he does, huh? But would you like a husband, Betty?
Yes, I think so.
Anybody out here got an old husband and that you? Mrs. Gibson?
Yes.
Where you from, Julie?
Oh, I'm from all over.
That's a good place to be from.
My husband was in the Air Corps, and we traveled a lot until recently, but I originally came from Florida.
Uh-huh. How'd you meet your husband? Were you in a parachute or something?
No. I was on a house party down in Florida, and the doorbell rang, and I went to the door, and this man stepped in the door and frightened me so much. I screamed and fell down the chair.
Why? That's You don't know it, Mrs. Gibson, but you just said the secret word, which is chair, and George over here will tell you what you won.
A 16-millimeter Apollo sound movie projector. Now, Mrs. Gibson, you can show regular Hollywood sound movies or movies you take yourself. It sells for $129.50.
How'd you meet your husband, Mrs. Gibson?
I don't have a husband.
What grade do you teach at school, Betty? I'll call you Betty, huh?
That's fine.
That's fine.
Well, I'm in the first grade.
You're in the first grade? What do you teach in the first grade? ABC?
Well, sort of. We teach reading and writing and number work and games and English.
You teach English, huh?
Yes.
How's my English?
Well, you speak fairly well, but sometimes...
Thanks for the qualifying.
Sometimes you're a little careless with your syntax.
You say my syntax?
Yes.
You even got a tax on that now. Mrs. Gibson, who disciplines the youngsters, you or your husband?
I do.
Why?
Well, my husband doesn't like to spank them.
I see, and you like to slug them?
Well, no, it hurts me worse than it hurts them.
You mean they slug you back, huh? Mrs. Pearson, do you believe in spanking youngsters, or should they be allowed to have their own way?
Well, I think you should strike a middle course.
Well, that's certainly the best place to strike them, huh? Anything exciting ever happen around your school?
The biggest thrill I ever had was the first day I started to teach school, and I stood in my own room, and there were 35 children, which were my own, and I...
How's your husband, Mrs.
I don't have a husband.
Still haven't got a husband. Suppose you got up Christmas morning and there lying under the tree was a handsome, wealthy, lovable young bachelor. What would you do?
I'd call the police.
That's a good idea. They could hold him until you got a preacher. Now, we'd like you to have perfect Christmas gifts from our sponsor.
For each of our ladies, Elgin American's beautiful simulated pearls. They're the finest pearls made by man. Nothing could be nicer for Christmas.
Thank you very much. They're beautiful.
All right, now let's play You Bet Your Life for $1,000. You run your $20 into more than the other couples, and you get a chance at a big question later. Fenneman's off stage to remind our listeners how much the first couple won.
The messenger and the movie man earned $10.
You selected famous children of fact and fiction, is that right?
That's right.
Now, here's your first question. You have $20. How much are you going to risk?
10.
10, 15.
15 then? 15.
15. What was the name of the poor English boy who became a wealthy merchant? He owned a famous pet cat.
Was it Moby Dick? No, that was...
he owned a whale, huh?
Was it David Cox? Oh.
No. I'm sorry. It's Dick Whittington, and you should have known that, Betty.
They now have $5.
You now have $5. Well, that's a shame. How much of the $5 will you try?
Oh, $1, I think. $2.50.
How about... How about $2.98?
Okay.
$2.50, huh? Okay. What was the name of the kid in the Arabian Nights that owned a magic lamp?
Aladdin.
Aladdin is right.
Well, and on their way, they have $7.50.
You now have $7.50 for the price of a very fair steak at the Brown Derby. Here's your third question. You have $77.50. How much are you going to bet?
7.5.
You're going to shoot the worst, huh? What was the name of the girl who had a party with the Mad Hatter?
Alice.
Alice in Wonderland is right.
Now they have $15.
You got 15 smackers. How much are you going to risk?
$15.
$15. What is the name of the little wooden marionette whose nose grew every time he called? Pinocchio is right.
And they wind up with $30.
Okay. Thanks and good luck from Belgian American Compacts. Now, in just 1 minute, our last couple will play You Bet Your Life, and then we know who gets the chance at the $1,000 question. But right now, I want you to pay attention to this.
Good gracious, I've nothing for the Johnsons yet.
Oh, gifts for girls at the office.
Heavens, what can I get this late for Jim's boss?
Keep calm, folks. It's not too late to buy the gifts that will make a big hit, do you proud, and look more expensive than they are. Elgin American gifts for men and women. Exquisite compact cigarette cases, dresser sets, luxurious simulated pearls, sensational lighter cases, magic action lighters, an almost endless choice of the most wanted gifts, all at real value prices. Gifts with the world's finest designing and craftsmanship, the prestige of the leading name in its field, the thrill of saying it's an Elgin American. So make your last-minute shopping a big success. Tomorrow, buy the first in fashion, first in value gifts of them all. Elgin American Gifts.
Now then, we'll soon know who's going to earn the most money and get the chance at the $1,000 question. George, who's ahead so far?
The housewife and the school teacher are leading with $30. And Groucho, the secret word is still chair. Our next couple doesn't know what it is. We invited some college students from foreign countries to the show tonight, and here comes the couple selected by our studio audience just before we went on the air. Miss Ruth Nicole and Mr. Jan Dykstra meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome, kids, to You Bet Your Life, and Merry Christmas. And if one of you says the secret word, he wins a 16-millimeter Apollo sound movie projector. It's a common word, something you use every day. College students from foreign countries, eh? Miss Nicole, is that right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Parlez-vous français?
No.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch, honey?
No.
Habla usted español, kiddo?
Oh, sí, señor.
I knew I could do it. Chinese, huh?
I'm from Guatemala.
Guatemala, huh? What part of China is that in?
It's Central America, between Mexico and Honduras, in the tropical Central America.
Uh-huh. And are all the girls as attractive as you down there?
Well, I don't know. You come down.
I'm sorry to ignore you, but that's
a beautiful girl here. That's funny.
That's right. Jan Dykstra?
Yes.
What language do you speak, Jan? John?
Let me
How do you pronounce that, Jan?
Jan, that's right. That's my name.
What language do you speak? Huh?
French, German, Italian, Indonesian, Greek, and then I have a dialect, Frisian. It's a part of Holland.
Well, you're a waiter at Ciro's, eh?
And then I speak,
All right,
English. I speak English, too.
I should say you do. You speak very good English. How is your syntax? Huh? What part of Holland are you from, Jan?
Well, I'm from Utrecht. It's not far from Amsterdam and The Hague. It is in the middle of the country.
Mm-hmm. What college are you attending?
UCLA.
Huh? What college is so fortunate as to have you, Miss Nicole?
Southern California.
What are you taking at USC? Your English professor?
I am taking English.
You're taking English?
And journalism.
What are you studying, Dutch Street?
Oh, political science.
Political science. Huh?
But that is not a Dutch street.
That's no treat at all, is it? How old are you, Jan?
24 years, next month.
24, huh? And may I ask your age, Miss Nicole?
Of course.
How old are you?
21.
21, huh? Dutch Bob, don't you miss being home for Christmas?
Very much.
Holland is the original home of Santa Claus, isn't it?
Yes, we do have a Santa Claus.
Does he
but we
climb down the chimneys over there?
No, he didn't climb down the chimneys. Our Santa Claus, we call him Santa Claus, and he doesn't come at Christmas, but at the 5th of December. And he himself is a dignified old bishop with a long beard and not a jolly round face as your Christmas man. And he rides around on a white horse.
Does Kris Kringle come down there south of the border?
Yes, but we know him as St. Nicholas.
St. Nicholas.
St. Nicholas.
What do you want for Christmas, Miss Nicole?
Well, as long as I'm not going home, I like the people who have been so damnified by those terrible floods in Guatemala to have better Christmas, because they're going to have a very sad one this year.
That's so. I'm sorry to hear that. Does a Latin American girl ever run into unusual situations over here?
Oh, yes. I had a letter for my father that I wanted to mail. And I wanted to mail the letter, and I saw a box, and I pulled the lever, and nothing happened, so I said, well, nothing happened. Things go wrong in the United States. And fire engines began to come all over the place. And then came the fire chief and everybody. And then I discovered that this was not a mailbox, but a fire alarm box.
Well, you lost the letter and got the ladder. Now, what are your impressions of the United States, Miss Nicole? For example, what impresses you most about this country?
Oh, there are so many things, but I'd say hamburgers are very special.
Here we have the Grand Canyon, the Chrysler Building, Niagara Falls, Tallulah Bankhead. And what impresses her most? A piece of meat on a bun. I mean, what do you like about the United States?
I like the theaters and the beaches. There are beautiful beaches, especially Malibu.
What do you dislike about the United States? And now, be frank.
Oh, there are many things.
There are?
It's true, oh, yes. I have a great gripe against the United States.
Well, they grow gripes out here.
There are those doors that are marked in and out. And if you try to get in and it's marked out, then it goes against your nose and it breaks it.
Don't they have any doors in Central America?
Oh, they are not marked in and out. You can go in whatever you like.
You can?
Oh, yes.
I tried that once and got thrown out. Well, you certainly are a charming couple. We enjoyed having you here, really. And now, before we proceed, we want you to have the perfect Christmas gifts from our sponsor.
For Ruth, this lovely sterling silver compact with 14-karat gold engraving. And Elgin American, of course, the perfect Christmas gift.
Oh, thank you.
You like it, Ruth?
It's beautiful. Thank Mr. and Mrs. Elgin for me.
Well, not only Mr. and Mrs. Elgin, I'll thank Mr. and Mrs. American. Huh?
Oh, you too.
And what have you got for Old Dutch Cleanser over here?
Elgin American's popular cigarette case with today's smart leather-like look. Something to show off to your friends.
Beautiful. Well, I'm glad you like it, Jan. Now, let's play You Bet Your Life. You beat the other couples, you get a crack at the $1,000 question. I can't tell you how much they won, but George is off stage to remind our listeners.
The school teacher and the housewife are ahead with $30.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected world leaders as your category.
That's right.
Okay, now here's your first question. You've got $20. How much do you want to try?
5?
No, let us put 6. $1 more.
All right, who is Argentina's president?
Perón.
Perón is right. You can decide on a single answer between you, huh?
So on the right, Groucho, I have $26.
Okay, you got $26. Remember, you're going for $1,000 tonight. How much of the 26 will you try?
Should we go one higher?
Oh, go 10 this time.
10? Okay, 10.
Who is the Prime Minister of India?
Nehru.
Nehru is right.
Declining now, I have $36.
All right, you got $36. Here's your third question. How much of the 36 are you going to risk?
15?
Okay, $15.
$15. Who is the Chief of State of Spain?
Franco.
Francisco Franco.
Now they have $51.
You've got $51, and here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much will you bet?
25.
25.
Who is the Prime Minister of England?
Attlee.
Attlee is right.
And that means that these people, the college students, with their $76, get the chance at the $1,000 question. And now, a word from Myron Wallace.
The name Elgin American means the very finest quality, designing, finish, and craftsmanship. The best value. In exquisite compacts, gorgeous simulated pearls, magnificent dresser sets, magic action lighters, wondrous lighter cases, distinguished cigarette cases, handsome military sets, fascinating musical humidors. Your favorite store has a complete assortment of the newest Elgin American styles right now. See them. And for your own proud use, for thrilling prestige gifts, always buy Elgin American.
And here's the winning couple, the college students.
Ready to try for $1,000, eh? Good luck, and I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you, and no help from the audience, please. Here it is. Now that military government has been abandoned in Germany, who is America's civilian high commissioner in charge of our interests there? All right, Mr. Dixter, what is the answer you two have decided upon?
McCloy.
Absolutely. That's right, you win $1,000. You had the right answer, so you win $1,000 from Elgin American Compacts. What are you going to do with all that money?
Well, I'm going to use it for my thesis writing. I hope to get more material from Holland.
What about you, Miss
My
Nicole?
money will go to Guatemala to the fight of the floods.
Well, that's a wonderful way to spend it. Thanks and congratulations to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Show. You Bet Your Life is a John Goodell production, transcribed from Hollywood, directed by Bob Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. Remember, next week's big question pays $1,000. Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at this time for You Bet Your Life, starring Groucho Marx, presented by the creators of America's most beautiful compacts, smartest cigarette cases, magic action lighters, and finest dresser sets, Elgin American.
Good night, folks. Have you looked at your compact lately? Don't go away now. Bing Crosby's next.
Someone wait for me. This is Ken Carpenter welcoming you to the Bing Crosby Chesterfield Show, produced and transcribed in Hollywood with John Scott Trotter and his orchestra, Judd Collins for the Bears, and Bing's special guest, Miss Ethel Barrymore. As is Bing's custom at Christmas time, he opens the program with a Dusty Fidelis, and as usual, he will sing it first in Latin and then in English with a studio audience joining him.
Yeah, Ken, I think it would be very fitting if our guest here would join in the chorus of Come All Ye Faithful.
Well, Bing, I think it'd be very nice if the home folks, the folks listening in all over the world, would join in, too.
Well, it would indeed. Gather round, folks, wherever you may be, and help us sing this eternal hymn. Death, safety, Davis, lay thee free on Fontes. They need in Bethlehem. Nacum videte, Regan angelorum, venite adoremus, venite adoremus, venite And now everybody here and at home in the family key. Thank you very much. Well, the Rhythmaires are assembling now to join in a big welcome to St. Nick and also a big welcome to the Ohio State football team, the Buckeyes, who are here in attendance this evening to witness this show. Here we go.
Happy days, listen to the bells and chimes as Santa Claus comes your way today.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. Vixen and Blitzen and all his reindeer pulling on the rein. Bells are ringing, children singing, all is merry and bright. Hang your stockings, say your prayers, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight.
Say, here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. He's got a bag that is filled with toys for the boys and girls again. Hear those sleigh bells jingle jangle, what a beautiful sight. Right! Jump in bed, cover up your head, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight, tonight. Santa Claus comes tonight, tonight.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane. He'll come around when the chimes ring out, and it's Christmas morn again. Peace on earth will come to all if we just follow the light. Let's give thanks to the Lord above, 'cause Santa Claus comes tonight, tonight. Santa Claus is coming tonight.
Happy days, listen to the bells and chimes.
Here comes Santa Claus.
Bing and Kid.
Thank you, Ken. You're very sweet.
Bing, you know I'm not one to make a big issue of things, but...
Man.
Well, what in the world has come over you tonight?
What do you mean?
Well, you're wearing a necktie.
It's a hand-painted job, too, by Ori Kelly.
Hand-painted? Let me see it.
Don't touch it. It isn't dry yet.
Oh. Look at that, a new transparent tie clip.
Well, that's Scotch tape, but it doesn't fit.
And Bing, you got a haircut.
Well, I had several hairs cut.
You did.
I went first class.
And look at that suit.
Nice?
Yes. This is the first time I've ever seen you wearing a coat and pants that match.
Oh, yes, and I got another pair of pants that match these.
Bing, this is really something.
Wow.
You're a knockout. Gosh, you look like you just stepped out of Foreman and Clark's window.
What are you talking about? I look like I just stepped out of Esquire.
You sure you don't mean Popular Mechanics?
Ken, you're just unnerved because you've never seen me so gussied up before.
Maybe you're right. But Bing, what's the big idea of dressing? You've been called for jury duty or something?
No. Ken, I just felt that I had to dress up tonight for our distinguished guest, Miss Ethel Barrymore.
Well, that I can understand. That's being very respectful.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you finally made it, Bing, how does it feel to own a suit of clothes?
Oh, I don't own this suit, Ken.
No?
I got it from Paramount. It has to be back in the wardrobe department in the morning. Now, Ken, I think it's time for our annual sleigh ride with John Scott Trotter's famous arrangement of Jingle Bells.
I'm for that, Bing.
But first, would you like to say something about Chesterfields? You know, sort of mention Chesterfield's Christmas carton. They're a great bet for last-minute shoppers.
Yes, sir. One of those gay red cartons with Arthur Godfrey's picture on it will make any smoker happy. And now, on behalf of the whole Chesterfield family, our wholesale distributors, our million retail outlets, your friends who sell you your Chesterfields, Merry Christmas.
Right-o. And from all of us here, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open. Oh, we have a lot of fun. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. O'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells and bobtails ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to ride and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Here's a song with a nice Yuletide sentiment. In fact, it seems to be becoming almost a standard this time of the year. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe helps to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa is on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh. And every mother's child is bound to spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. You know, Christmas is a time when nice things are supposed to happen, and they do. Certainly a nice thing is happening to us right now with the arrival of our very wonderful guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Ethel Barrymore.
Thank you, Bing. Bing, that was really very nice. I'd like to say that being here is the nicest Christmas present I could possibly have. I'm delighted to be here and hear my favorite singer sing my favorite Christmas song.
Well, thank you, Miss Barrymore. That's a rather overpowering compliment.
Well, it should be, coming from another baritone.
Mighty full, rich baritone, too.
Really, Bing, I do enjoy your singing. I enjoy your pictures, too, especially those with Bob Hope. I think he's a fine comedian, and I want to sing his praises to the world.
You came here to do it?
You see, to appreciate Bob, you must realize he has many sides to his character.
Well, how would you analyze Hope? What kind of a mixture is he?
Well, there's his childlike simplicity.
And,
that's all there is.
Oh, goody.
Now, consider that your Christmas present.
Oh, that's just what I wanted. Miss Barrymore, now that you live out here in California, I bet you kind of miss Christmas in New York, huh?
Oh, I haven't spent all my Christmases in New York. First 2 years I was on the stage, I spent them in a hall bedroom in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh? Oh, did you ever see the Pittsburgh Pirates play in those days?
Yes. In those days they won a pennant.
I don't know why they can't win one for us.
I don't either. You got the same fellas playing.
Oh, we have... Oh, you must be mistaken.
No, I'm not. This summer I saw good old Honus Wagner out there on the field in the uniform.
Oh, well, Honus isn't playing anymore. He's just coaching.
Well, that's where your trouble is. Get him back to shortstop where he belongs.
Well, you may have something there at that. I'm going to see what I can do about it. But, you know, I was thinking with your theatrical career, you must have spent a great many Christmases away from home, Miss Barrymore.
Yes, but fortunately I was able to have my children with me. They joined me wherever I happened to be playing. Sometimes in Chicago, sometimes in Boston, sometimes in Philadelphia, sometimes home.
Well, the important thing is that you got together.
Yes, and for many years we listened to Christmas carols sung by a young man named Crosby on the radio.
Well, I'm very happy I could be with you. You know, something I wanted to ask you. What do you think about this new fad they got out here for colored Christmas trees? Especially out here in Hollywood, they seem to accentuate that
I've
color.
seen them.
You know, like
pink, blue, silver, maroon, yellow. But I was lucky, Bing. I managed to get a green tree this year.
You did? Well, how did you ever do it?
I bought a pink one and painted it green.
Very clever.
Bing, I bet there's lots of excitement around your house with all your boys home for the holidays.
Oh, it certainly is. You know a funny thing, though? The kids wanted to spend Christmas in New York this year.
Probably they want to get east for the snow.
No, it wasn't that. It was the water shortage that intrigued them. They wanted to get in on Bathless Friday.
Bing, this is really something standing here talking about your children when I remember so well when you were a kid yourself, singing with the Rhythm Boys.
My goodness, you go back that far?
Are you kidding? But Bing, let's get back to Christmas.
All right.
You know, in our family, you've got a new little fan, 3 years old, my little grandson, Johnny. And we'd love to hear some carols.
Christmas carols? Well, Miss Barrymore, if the chorus will gather around, I'd be thrilled and I'd be happy to oblige you and Johnny. Deck the halls with boughs of holly. La 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly. La 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 la. Song we now our gay apparel. La 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol. La 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 la. That's the way the old year passes. La 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 la. Hail the new ye lads and lasses. La 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 la. Sing we joyous all together. La 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather. La 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 la. Cattle are lowing, the poor baby wakes, but little Lord Jesus, no crying he makes. I love thee, Lord Jesus, look down from the sky. Stand by my cradle till morning is nigh. The first Noel the angel did say was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay, keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east beyond them far, and to the earth it gave great light, and so it continued both day and night. Noel, 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 born is the King of
They were beautiful, Bing.
Well, I'm sure glad that you liked them.
Now, would it be too much if I asked for White Christmas?
Oh, no, not at all. Anything you wish.
And Bing, by the way, thanks for wearing the necktie and suit tonight.
Oh, it's nothing, really.
Now, don't try to pass it off lightly. You're in agony. Know it.
Oh, I can take it, honestly. John Scott, White Christmas for Miss Barrymore, huh? Just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas with every Christmas card I write. May your day be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be the treetops glisten. And children whistle, sleigh bells in the snow.
Thank you, Bing.
This program was produced and transcribed in Hollywood.
My name's Regan. I work for Anthony J. Lyon, International Detective Bureau. They call me the Lion's Eye.
Wednesday at 9, and CBS brings you Jeff Regan, Investigator, starring Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. So stand by for mystery and suspense and adventure in tonight's story of Some Enchanted Carhop.
It was just an ordinary drive-in hamburger joint on Vermont off Sunset, but they called it Hamburger Heaven. And just to carry out the idea, they'd hired 6 angels to wait on cars. 3 blondes, a redhead, and 2 brunettes. I was lucky. I drew the redhead. Only she didn't serve up what I ordered. All she brought me was trouble. The whole thing started when there were only 8 more shopping days until Christmas. I fought my way through the necktie and sock set, and by the time I reached the office, I was ready to start celebrating New Year's. But my boss, the Lion, had other ideas. When I walked in, all 280 pounds of him was up on an office stool. He was tacking a dried-up sprig of mistletoe over the door.
Jeffrey, my boy, come in. The festive season is at hand.
How's that again?
I said the festive season is at hand. I'm filled overflowing with the Yuletide spirit.
Yeah? Well, you better take those nails out of your teeth before you spring a leak.
Oh, yes. Yeah, guess you're right, my boy. I got carried away.
Yeah, sure. You and Tiny Tim. We're expecting women clients?
Women clients? Oh, you mean the mistletoe. Well, Jeffrey, you never can tell when a sweet young thing might accidentally happen in.
Stop drooling, Fatso. You dropped out of the mistletoe set 50 pounds ago.
Well, maybe so, but I still believe in Santa Claus. Now, where was I?
You were up on the stool with berries in your hair.
No, I mean about the new client. What have I told you so far?
That the festive season is at hand?
Huh? Oh, then I haven't told you about our new client. His name is Ward Hamilton, Jeffrey. He was in just a few minutes ago. Fine figure of a man. Well-dressed, distinguished, prosperous.
That explains the Christmas spirit. How much?
Jeffrey, the Christmas spirit cannot be measured in terms of money. This is the time of goodwill toward men of unselfish devotion.
Sure. How much unselfish devotion did he buy?
$50 worth. It's something about his niece or daughter or some friend or something.
What about them?
Well, it seems this girl's been receiving packages, flowers, candy, that sort of thing.
Well, what's so mysterious about that? Doesn't she know it's Christmas?
Well, for some reason or other, Ward Hamilton says she's worried about them. He'll tell you all about it when you see him. The address is on the desk. It's out on Iredell Road in North Hollywood.
So I find the Santa Claus that's been sending the packages.
Say, that's right. This case does fit right in with the season, doesn't it?
Sure. And Merry Christmas to you, too, Fatso. That started it. I hopped in my sleigh and headed my reindeer out over Cahuenga Pass. Iredell Road was twin rows of California bungalows with Christmas decorations strung out in front. All except one house. It was the address Lion had given me. Redwood front on the usual cream-colored stucco. White ranch-type fence, swimming pool in the backyard. No Christmas anywhere. Behind the fence, a big Dalmatian wagged his tail and grinned at me in a nice, friendly sort of way. Only he was growling when he did it. I circled wide and made the porch, but I didn't get as far as the doorbell.
What do you want?
Mr. Hamilton? I'm Regan, International.
Regan? Oh, yes, the detective. Come in, Mr. Regan, come in.
He was big and gray-haired, the man of distinction. But what he had in his hand wasn't a glass. It was a whip. Black, 10 feet long, with lead weights at the tip.
In here. I appreciate your coming right out, Mr. Regan. I like to get prompt action.
Is that what you used that for?
Well, the whip. No, just a hobby of mine. I practice hitting toy ducks floating in the swimming pool.
Oh, nice way to get use out of your pool during the winter season.
Well, yes. Never mind that. Sit down, Mr. Regan. I want to tell you about Mary.
That's the niece.
Niece? No relation. I'm a close friend of her family's. Her parents died several years ago. There was no one else, so I've tried to take over the reins and help the girl along. It hasn't been easy.
She isn't broken to harness.
It's a nice metaphor, but it doesn't fit. Not at all. Mary Winter is a strange girl. Very strange.
She's the shy, retiring type.
Ah, I see. The detective training. You're thinking ahead, assuming that she's not attractive to men. Nothing could be further from the truth. She's a lovely girl. Very lovely. Auburn hair, green eyes, fine, firm, youthful figure. Desirable is the word, Mr. Regan. Desirable. You understand what I mean?
You make it pretty clear. So, that brings us to the anonymous packages.
For almost 6 weeks, someone has been sending Mary gifts. Almost every day. Flowers, candy, novelties, that sort of thing. No name, no indication where they come from.
Mary has no idea either?
No. But she's reacted to them badly. They're making her nervous, upset. There's something I can't afford to have happen.
Come again?
Mr. Regan, I can observe that there's little use in trying to keep anything back from you. My interest in the package matter is because of money.
Now the story begins to make sense.
Mary is strange. Perhaps I should have said peculiar. Her aversion to men is almost, well, I've been sending her to a Mr. Farthing, a human relations counselor.
A psychologist?
Something like that.
And it costs money?
Yes, it costs money. The more delay in cure, the more it costs. Frankly, Mr. Regan, I'm tired of the obligation.
She work?
Yes. She works at one of those drive-in stands, Carhop.
Something wrong with that?
The place is called Hamburger Heaven, Mr. Regan.
And you want me to find the guy who sends the packages so he'll marry her, or so you can get rid of him?
It works the same either way. You'll take the job, Mr. Regan?
Sure. I'll find your guy. Maybe he'll look good under your Christmas tree. Ward Hamilton gave me the girl's address in Hollywood. It was a tired stucco 4-flat just off Kingsley, the home of Mary Winter, the girl who hated men. And then it was too easy. Standing out front near the curb was a little man in a trench coat. He carried an umbrella over his arm, and he paced up and down, watching the apartment. That was too good a bet to pass up. You going somewhere?
I beg your pardon?
Someone you know lives in there?
Why, that's none of your business, sir.
The name of the friend wouldn't be Mary Winter.
Get out of my way.
That's what I thought. Hold it.
Let go of my arm. Let go, I say.
Why are you watching Mary Winter's apartment?
I warned you. Let go. Let
Answer
go.
me.
Very well. I'll answer you.
The umbrella in his hand came down on my wrist, and he broke for the corner. By the time I turned, he was out of sight. On the ground, broken, was the little man's umbrella. I picked it up. Real break. Name engraved on the handle. In nice big gold letters, it said, Smith. I headed for Mary Winter's apartment. I knocked, and nothing happened. Knocked again. The radio in the room told me somebody was in and liked their music loud. I tried the door, and it worked. I stuck my head in to look around. A redhead came in from another room, in slacks and halter. She saw me. She dived for the closet and came out wearing her coat. Then she snapped off the radio.
Get out of here!
Look, I tried knocking, but...
Get out before I call the police!
The name's Regan. Ward Hamilton sent me.
You're lying. You're trying to trick me.
Phone him. He'll tell you.
What do you want?
About the presents you've been getting. Tell me.
I'm not sure. I can't trust you.
Well, look, for the last time, I'm supposed to find out who's sending them. Either you help or you don't. Now, take your choice.
All right. I'll listen. But don't you come a step closer.
I sat down. One corner of the room. Redhead, other corner. She was tall, graceful, beautiful. Everything a guy could want. Except for the look in her eyes. Scared, hunted. I waited for her to start it.
They began several weeks ago. The presents. I don't know who is sending them or why, but
Any card? Identification?
No, nothing.
You sure?
You think I'd accept gifts from a stranger?
Take it easy. Nobody said that. What did Farthing tell you?
Farthing?
This human relations counselor you go to.
Oh, you know about that?
Yeah, I know about that. What did he say?
That I shouldn't worry. That I should find out.
That all?
Oh, you don't understand. You're like all of them. Get out of here.
One question. You know a little guy about 30 carries an umbrella, wears a trench coat, shy?
No.
Are you sure? Think. A little guy.
No, I don't know him. I've never met him in my life. Get out!
I left the redhead sobbing softly to herself. Maybe a lot of flowers and candy would be kind of nice to a lot of people during Christmas, but not to Mary Winter. She was mixed up, inside and out. I headed back to my car, and then I was mixed up. It had looked easy until I got to my car. That's when I got complications. A big complication. Fat, 40, with a gun.
Get in, Shamus.
Now what?
Your choice, Shamus.
Like what?
The Winter Dame,
Your property?
Not my type.
Belong to the boss?
Question, Shamus,
Beat it, will you?
I'm not through with you.
Okay, get through.
Stay away from Mary Winter or you get trouble. Real bad trouble. Any questions now, Shamus?
Yeah. Who pays you?
You shouldn't have asked that question.
It looked like it was going to be a real holiday season. Brotherly love all over the place. The next stop was a man named Mr. Farthing. Only the sign on the door said John J. Farthing, Human Relations Counselor. It was a plush layout. Waiting room the size of a box top. Rich, solid, lined with deep green leather chairs, brass studs. On the wall, Van Gogh, Gauguin, that kind of stuff. The receptionist was out, and I took a crack at the thick mahogany door.
Yes, come in, please. What may I do for you, sir?
The name's Regan, international detective.
Oh, sit down, Mr. Regan. Now, is something troubling you?
Girl named Winter, Mary Winter.
Go on, Mr. Regan.
She's a patient of yours?
Why do you ask?
A couple of questions about him.
I see.
Since you know her background, I thought you could fill me in on a few things. I said...
I heard you, Mr. Regan.
Well?
Perhaps, sir, you're aware of the nature of my work. Since I assume you're an intelligent man, I don't believe it's necessary to be much more explicit than that.
Try it for size.
Very well. Cigarette, Mr. Regan?
Thanks.
There is in existence a code of ethics. Some practitioners call it the Hippocratic Oath. I'm not a doctor, as you know, yet I, too, Mr. Regan, have a moral code.
I'm listening.
Nothing in my code, either morally, ethically, or in any other way, allows me to discuss the affairs of my patients. Is that clear?
Yeah. That's clear.
I'm sorry I can't assist you in whatever it is you're trying to do, Mr. Regan. I'd like to help, but as you see, my hands are tied.
That makes two of us. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Mr. Farthing, gray suit, ivory cigarette holder, and gold cufflinks, stood up and shook hands solemnly. I left. He'd given me nothing. And there was only one thing wrong with that. Mr. Farthing was right. I decided to check in with my boss, Anthony J. Lyon.
The International Detective Agency, Anthony.
Save it for the customers, Fatso.
Jeffrey, where have you been?
Look, I just started this business 2 hours ago. What's eating you?
Just this. I have here in my office with me a young man. He has an interesting story, Jeffrey. It seems he's been sending gifts to one Mary Winter.
What?
That's correct, Regan, the man you're supposed to be looking for. Well, don't just stand there. Get over here at once. This young man can't wait all day for lazy detectives. And besides, he needs help.
He needs help.
Yeah, that's right, Jeffrey. The man you were supposed to find. His life's in danger.
This is CBS, and you're listening to Jeff Regan, investigator, in tonight's adventure, Some Enchanted Carhop.
It started when a guy named Ward Hamilton hired the Lion and me to find out who was sending packages to a Carhop named Mary Winter. I met a little guy with an umbrella and a big guy with a gun, and a human relations counselor who called himself Mr. Farthing. Then I phoned my boss, Anthony J. Lyon, and found the mysterious Santa Claus who'd been sending the girl gifts had walked right into our office. When I got there, I found the Lion sitting with his fingertips touching as he talked to the man across the desk from him. Like I guessed, it was the same guy I'd seen outside Mary Winter's apartment. The little guy, 30, trench coat, and nervous.
Jeffrey, come in. I want you to meet our new client, Mr. Smith. Mr. Ernest Smith. He's in trouble.
Well, if he isn't, he should be.
Jeffrey, what on earth do you mean?
I found your Mr. Smith outside the girl's apartment. He wasn't looking for frost on those windows.
No, Mr. Regan. That's...
What Mr. Smith is trying to say, Jeffrey, is that that's not true. Mr. Smith is in real trouble.
You sell it to him?
Jeffrey, how can you say such a thing? Mr. Smith feels his life is in danger, hence he has retained us to act in his behalf.
That's true, Mr. Regan. I'll admit I sent the gifts to Miss Winter. I didn't realize, I didn't know...
Get to the point.
Now I'm afraid. Since I saw you this afternoon, someone's following me.
Fat guy, big coat.
Yes. I came here for help. Someone doesn't like my sending the gifts.
Well, that's real bright. Well, you can start with Mary Winter.
She doesn't like them, Mr. Regan?
Then there's a guy named Hamilton.
She's married?
We call him a guardian, family friend.
Oh.
Finish your story.
I like Miss Winter. I wanted to do something for her.
So you've been sending her anonymous presents for almost 6 weeks. Isn't that carrying the Christmas spirit too far?
Well, I like her. That's not abnormal, is it, Mr. Regan?
Yeah, of course not, Mr. Smith.
You keep out of this, Fatso.
Yeah, but Jeffrey, our client...
We got another client named Hamilton, remember? Besides, you haven't met the girl.
Neither have I.
What?
I've never met Mary Winter. Is that abnormal, Mr. Regan? Oh, dear. Dear, perhaps I'm sicker than Mr. Farthing told me.
Say that again?
Mr. Farthing, my human relations counselor, he takes care of me.
Now, wait a minute. Maybe this is going to add up. You've never met Mary Winter?
No.
No, but you've seen her. You've seen her in the waiting room of Farthing's office.
Why, Mr. Regan, how on earth did you guess? That's exactly it. She was reading a copy of Reader's Digest, and I was reading an old National Geographic. It was a fall
Never
day.
mind. Well, Lion, I think that wraps that up.
Jeffrey, what do you mean?
Mary Winter is afraid of unknown guy sending packages. Unknown guy turns out to be Smith. Take Smith to Mary, show her he's harmless. Collect our fee.
Yeah, but Jeffrey, what about Mr. Smith? What about the man who's following him?
Maybe he just imagined it. Come on, Smith. We're going to visit a redhead. The Lion didn't believe Smith imagined it any more than I did. But he only sputtered, and I loaded Smith into the car and headed out to Mary Winter's apartment. It looked simple. Then, like a glass of mild eggnog. What I didn't know was that somebody had slipped me a zombie. It was turning dark when we pulled up in front of the place. Smith stayed at my heels like a sheepdog. I knocked. This time she opened the door.
Oh, Mr. Regan, what are you doing here?
Brought your Christmas present. Only this one's harmless.
Oh, no.
Take it easy, sweetheart. Just a guy named Smith. You might even like him.
No, please go away. Please go away.
Smith and I walked on in, and Mary backed into a chair in the far corner of the room. She and Smith looked at each other and didn't say anything, so I waited for the sparks to die out of her eyes. But they didn't. There was something else on her mind.
This is the man who sent the packages.
You guessed it. Smith, Mary Winter. Mary Winter, Smith.
Get him out of here!
Huh?
I said get him out of here before he kills me!
Oh, no.
Sit down. Now, just a minute, lady. He won't hurt anybody. Just take it easy, will you? Just take quiet.
That's what you're
Oh, no,
Now, listen,
hurt.
sweetheart. Wait a minute. It's Christmas. You've heard of that, I think, haven't you? People send presents to each other because it makes them feel good. Now, Smith sent you presents for the same reason.
He's going to kill me. You're like he is, trying to trap me.
Oh, that does it.
All right. Look at this.
What, a card?
It came in a box of flowers. Was delivered here to my apartment tonight.
Each man kills the thing he loves.
Well, Regan, try and explain that. Try and
Shut
prove
up. Did you send this, Smith?
No, Mr. Regan. I didn't send it. I sent flowers and candy and nice things.
Mr. Regan, at the window!
I left them with their mouths open and ran for the hall, and then outside. The girl may have had an overworked imagination, but her mind didn't knock over that garbage can. It was dark and peaceful and still outside. Me and a half moon and nobody else. And then I saw him, thick-set, crouched, moving away from the window. I dove after him. We went down together as his hand came out of his pocket. A heavy gray .45 got itself in my direction, and I grabbed at the wrist behind him. The gun fell into the rose bush, but he got to his feet.
I warned you once, Shamus. Stay away from that girl. Who said so? Never mind that now. Get off the case now, before it's too late. It'll only mean... Oh!
Were you going to say trouble? The big guy was 200 pounds of unconscious as I bent over him. A heavy camel hair coat was wrapped around him. The same guy I'd seen before. I unbuttoned the coat figuring some identification might help, only when it came open, I didn't need any more. He was wearing a tailored starched jacket. It wasn't the kind you see every day. It was white. That gave me the lead I needed, and I headed fast for my car. 10 minutes later, I stopped at a drugstore on my way out to the valley. I phoned the Lion and told him to check on Farthing. Then I headed the car out Cahuenga. The pass was crowded with home-from-work traffic. It took me 25 minutes to make Iredell Road and the home of Ward Hamilton. This time, the Dalmatian was out for the night. But Ward Hamilton wasn't. He opened the door.
Well, well, Mr. Regan, come in. You work late.
Our time clock's out of order.
Oh, perhaps you'd like one for Christmas.
No, thanks. Wouldn't fit in my sock.
Well, Mr. Regan, I take it by this visit that you have good news for me.
Call it that.
You know who's been sending the girl those gifts?
A guy named Smith.
How's that again?
Smith, Ernest Smith. His birth certificate says.
I'm afraid I've never heard of him, Mr. Regan.
He saw Mary in the waiting room of Farthing's office. Never met her. Shy little guy.
Well, now isn't that something? Well, I must say, Mr. Regan, you did a remarkably fast job.
There's something else you ought to know, Hamilton. Chances are Farthing's a phony.
Mr. Farthing?
Looks like.
Why, it seems absurd.
Just thought I'd let you know. Want me to go on with the case?
What do you mean, Mr. Regan?
I found your guy, Smith. That's what you hired me for. And when I get to Farthing, he'll sing like a prima donna.
He'll sing?
Talk.
Well, then keep going.
Okay, Hamilton. It's your money.
It's your life, Mr. Regan. Be careful.
I made a fast phone call to the Lion on my way back into town, and that tied it up. Farthing was working late when I got there, only when he looked up and saw me, he wasn't happy.
What do you want?
Conversation, a lot of it.
Mr. Regan, I must ask why you've come to my office at this hour.
I told you, for conversation.
Then I may regard this whole thing as a sort of joke?
Maybe. Only the laughs you'll get wouldn't get by even on television.
I demand an explanation of your attitude.
Fair enough. Start with your name. Not Farthing, it's Farnham, Howard Farnham. You want more?
Where did you get that?
I had a phone conversation with my boss. He's got ways of getting things. Like your record. 5 arrests bunco, 1 arrest forgery, 1 arrest fraud.
No convictions.
You were lucky. Maybe you won't be this time.
You haven't got anything on me, Regan?
How about blackmail?
Not a chance.
Maybe not yet. Only you were getting set for a job. I believe the guy's name was Hamilton.
You can't prove it.
Well, it was your mug. The big guy in the white jacket. He meant business. Does he do your legwork?
Listen, Regan, you can't pin blackmail on me. Sure, maybe I had ideas, but I don't claim I'm a doctor. I don't hand out any pills. Just advice, Regan. That's all. Just advice.
That's too bad. You know, there are a lot of people that take phonies like you seriously, Farnham. A lot of people that could use advice. Real advice.
Mine's real. They say, should I marry him? And I say yes or no, depending...
On how much there is in it for you.
What do you want from me, Regan?
Who paid you to put the B on Mary Winter?
Never mind, Farthing. You won't have to answer that.
Come on in, Hamilton. I've been waiting for you.
You're bragging, Mr. Regan.
It made sense if I could get you to join Farthing and me. You might have something to say. You're showing up. Check my story.
What story?
Like this. A man named Hamilton's supposed to look out for a young redhead named Mary Winter. Only Hamilton takes one look at this number and suddenly he's not fatherly anymore. He decides to move in for himself.
It's absurd.
Is it? You convinced the girl she couldn't trust any man in the world but you. Should have been the other way around. You're the one she couldn't trust. Isn't that right, Farthing?
Leave me out of this, Regan. I run a legitimate business.
Leave you out? Well, that wouldn't be fair. You were the guy Hamilton came to with money. He paid you to tell Mary Winter who was the man for her. Am I right, Farthing?
You're lying, Regan.
No, I'm not. Everything worked fine until along came a nice, shy little guy with an umbrella, Mr. Smith. Met Mary in Farthing's waiting room, starting sending her presents. You know, that must have really stopped you, Hamilton, trying to figure out who was cutting in on your Romeo act.
Regan, I've had enough out of you. I thought you were getting nosy.
You hired me to find the guy, and I did. End of story. Except if anybody should happen to tell Mary Winter what kind of a guy you really are, Hamilton. You might suddenly find yourself out of a lifetime career.
You'll never tell her, Regan. I'll see to that.
Forget one item. For a last touch, you send Mary a threatening note. Really put the pressure on. You're washed up, Hamilton.
This revolver says I'm not, Mr. Regan. Farthing, come over here, out of the way. We're going to take care of Mr. Regan.
Self-defense, not a chance with Farthing's record. Am I right, Farnham?
Do as I say, Farthing.
Go ahead, Farnham, go ahead. Murder will look good on your list.
I won't play ball, Hamilton. I told the girl what you wanted, but I'm not in this. It's your fight.
I can make it yours.
Don't try it.
I am as good with this gun, gentlemen, as I am with a whip. Farnham, watch out.
Farnham ducked as I hit Hamilton's wrist. The bullet buried itself in the desk top, and the gun hit the floor. I got the gun as Hamilton moved in fast. Only what he got for his trouble was the barrel across his head. Farnham crawled up to his chair, sat down, puffing. I let him catch his breath. When I waved the gun in his direction, he didn't mind phoning the police. The heavy guy in the white jacket showed up bright and early for work the next morning, and the cop greeted him with a pair of handcuffs. He got off with assault and battery, and Farnham, alias Farthing, made the blotter for a light charge. Hamilton wasn't that lucky. His read assault with intent to kill. It was noon when I got to the Lion's office. He was admiring the Christmas tree stuck in the corner. And from the sounds that came out of his mouth, it looked like his holiday fever was becoming serious.
Noel. Born is the king of... Oh, hello, Jeffrey.
They're looking for a replacement for Vaughn Monroe?
Jeffrey, how unkind. It's the season for songs. Sunday is Christmas, my boy.
And today is payday.
So it is. Well, perhaps I could manage a small token, a sign of my gratitude.
Thanks.
Yeah, by the way, what about Mary Winter, the Carhop? How is the girl, Jeffrey?
Oh, I left her with Smith last night when I went after Farthing's mug.
Jeffrey, you didn't. Alone together? And that girl hating all men, and that boy shy, backwards? Jeffrey, how could you? How cruel.
It's too late now, Lion. Maybe we'll read about it in the afternoon paper.
Double murder.
Double hamburger.
What did you say?
I drove by Mary's drive-in this morning. There was a car parked there.
Jeffrey, you mean...
Little guy behind the wheel, trench coat, umbrella. He looked an awful lot like our boy Smith.
Then you talked to them?
For a minute.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Tell me, Jeffrey, tell me. What did Mary say?
She said, with or without onions. Merry Christmas, Lion.
Merry Christmas, Jeffrey.
Jeff Regan, Investigator, is written by William Frug and William Fifield, produced by Sterling Tracy, directed by Gordon T. Hughes, and stars Frank Graham as Regan with Frank Nelson as Anthony J. Lyon. Original music is by Dick Arant. Jeff Regan, Investigator, is heard each week at the same time over CBS. Bob Stevenson speaking and inviting you to be with us again next week at this same time for Jeff Regan, Investigator. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Portions of the following program are transcribed. The Kraft Foods Company, makers of Kraft Quality Foods, presents Harold Perry as the Great Gildersleeve. The Great Gildersleeve is brought to you by the Kraft Foods Company, makers of the famous cheese food Velveeta. Everybody goes for Velveeta's rich yet mild cheddar cheese flavor in snacks, in sandwiches, and in hot dishes. And Velveeta, you know, helps supply important food values from milk. It's as digestible as milk itself. That's why smart homemakers keep Velveeta on hand regularly to spread or slice and to melt for grand economical hot dishes. Tomorrow, get Velveeta, the cheese food of Kraft quality.
Well, the Christmas spirit has really taken over the Great Gildersleeve's house. Tinsel and bells, gifts being tucked away in every nook and corner. What excitement. The water commissioner can scarcely sleep at night.
Lumpy mattress. I shouldn't have hidden Leroy's bicycle under my bed.
And all the wonderful mysteries of the days before Christmas. Hidden parcels, closet doors all locked.
Leroy, what you doing peeking through that keyhole?
I wasn't peeking.
Looking through a keyhole into a dark closet. You can't see nothing in there.
Yeah, I know it.
Come on, let's get a flashlight.
Now it's coming on Christmas Eve.
Hey, where's Doc? Is that all the presents you're putting under the tree?
Well, that's all for now, Leroy. I may have a couple of other little items to bring down after you're snug in your bed.
Yeah?
While visions of sugar plums dance through your head.
That's something I can never figure out. What's a sugar plum?
Well,
Make room coming through.
Well, Marjorie with her little presents.
Little presents is right. Holy smokes, you can carry them all in one hand. What a cheapskate.
Now, Leroy.
It's all right, Unky. It doesn't bother me a bit. What dinky little packages. I bet everybody gets a doily.
The size of the package, my boy, doesn't mean a thing. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, I know.
This is going to be the best Christmas we ever had, Unky.
Well, it could be.
I have a big surprise for you.
For me?
I know, it's a motorcycle.
Yeah.
No, it's not a motorcycle. It's a wonderful surprise for a wonderful uncle.
Oh, Marjorie, don't hug me so tight.
Oop. I heard something crack. Were they ribs?
No, Leroy, 3 cigars. Oh, well, I'll give them to Judge Hooker. I'll tell him they're a new brand of cigar with hinges in the middle. For smoking in phone booths.
I can hardly wait, Uncle.
Now, Marjorie, I hope you didn't buy me something expensive.
You'll never guess what it is.
Hmm?
Oh, that must be Bronco.
Yeah, that's Bronco, all right. He always rings the bell like a bear was chasing him.
Hello, Bronco. Come in.
Hiya, Marge, honey.
Well, come in, Bronco.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Gildersleeve. Leroy?
Merry Christmas to you, Bronco.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, honey.
Leroy?
Little brothers. You can leave your coat on, Bronco. We're all going over to the high school auditorium tonight.
Oh?
They're having the Craft Choral Club from Chicago.
Wow, that's very nice, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yeah, a lot of fine voices. Beautiful music.
What are they going to sing, Unc? That opera stuff?
No, Leroy. Christmas carols.
Bronco, I told Unky I have a surprise for him tonight.
Yeah, quite a surprise.
Oh? Is Bronco in on this, too? How about a little tip, Bronco?
Oh, I couldn't do that, Mr. Gildersleeve.
I don't know what it is, but Bertie does.
Bertie? Well, you children clean up the front room. I think I'll drift out to the kitchen and have a little talk with Bertie.
You won't get anything out of Bertie, Unky.
Well, I'm not trying to, Marjorie. Just want to see Bertie about arrangements for this evening. Of course, it wouldn't hurt to pick up a small clue. I love Christmas. Bertie!
Yes, excuse me?
Just thought I'd come out and see if you're all set for tonight.
Yes, sir. Bertie's all set.
Fine. Marjorie has a little surprise for me this evening.
Yes, sir.
Of course, I know what it is.
Yes, sir.
I'm sure you know what it is, too, Bertie.
Yes, sir.
That is, you may know what it is, but just so you'll be sure, Bertie, you write what you think it is on this piece of paper, and I'll write what I know it is. Then we'll exchange pieces of paper.
All right, Mr. Gildersleeve, here's my grocery pencil.
There. Now we exchange, Bertie.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Let's see what Bertie wrote. You ain't trapping me. Let's face it, Bertie. Marjorie's gone out and bought me a very nice present of some kind, and I'm a little worried about it.
Oh?
See, I don't have anything very spectacular for Marjorie. Just the usual presents for a girl.
Well, don't worry about that, Mr. Gildersleeve. Miss Marjorie ain't worried about what she's going to get this year. She's a grown-up lady now.
I know, Bertie, but I've got to give her something a little bit special. After all, she has this big surprise for me.
pretty late to go buying anything now, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yeah, that's right. By George, Bertie, I just had a great idea. You remember a long time ago I said when Marjorie grew up, I was going to give her my mother's diamond ring?
Yes, sir.
I was going to surprise her with it on her next birthday. But what's wrong with Christmas?
There's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing.
I'll do it, Bertie. I've got the ring up in my dresser drawer. I'll go down to Mr. Peavy's and get a fancy box for it.
Oh, that sure will please her.
You bet. Now, Bertie, don't you say a word about this to Marjorie.
No, sir. I ain't tell nobody nothing.
Don't you even give her a little hint.
I ain't tell nobody nothing.
Fine. What time is dinner?
I ain't tell nobody. Oh, I mean 6 o'clock.
Good old Bertie.
Well, hello, Peavy.
Hello, Mr. Gildersleeve. What can I do for you this Christmas Eve?
Peavy, I need a box. Something very fancy.
Well, what would you like to have in it?
Nothing, Peavy. I just want a little empty box. It's for a Christmas present.
Empty box, eh? You playing a little practical joke on somebody, are you?
No, Peavy, it's for a ring. I want a box for a ring.
Oh, well, why didn't you say so?
Do you have one?
I don't think so.
Peavy, you must have something around here. There's a lot of little boxes there in the showcase.
Those are all full of cold tablets.
Oh, for goodness.
How about an aspirin box? You could take the aspirin out.
Peavy, this is Marjorie's Christmas present. I'm giving her my mother's diamond ring. Most wonderful surprise of her life. Now, come on, Peavy.
Well, I think I can find you something.
Attaboy. Look at this ring. Isn't that a beauty?
My.
I've just been waiting for Marjorie to grow up so I could give it to her.
It makes me feel a little old, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Huh?
Seems like only yesterday that Marjorie was in here dangling her pigtails in a chocolate sundae.
Yeah, those pigtails are up in the attic now. I kept them both.
Very sweet girl, Marjorie.
Yes, she is, Petey. I was thinking this afternoon while Marjorie and Leroy and I were decorating the tree how much those children mean to me. How I've cared for them and watched them grow. Yeah, they're everything I have, Petey.
It's nice to feel that way. Makes a nice Christmas, too. All the stockings hung up by the chimney.
You bet. Too bad you didn't have any children, Peavy. Only 2 stockings on your mantel?
No, we have 3. Mrs. Peavy hangs up both of hers.
Oh, for goodness. I've got to run, Peavy. I'm picking up Miss Milford, and we're all going over to the auditorium to hear the craft chorus. Why don't you folks drop over to the house later, Peavy? Christmas Eve, you know.
Well, thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve. Happy Christmas, Carol.
Yeah, see you later, Peavy. Well, the auditorium's almost full. Here, let's sit down here, Catherine.
Thank you, Throckmorton.
Oh, you look lovely this evening.
Thank you. I feel like a debutante with this corsage you sent me.
Well, what the heck? It's Christmas. I gave the florist $3.75 and told him to shoot the works. Who's that?
Look up here in the roof.
Leroy!
Oh, no. Where is he?
Way up there in the balcony, eating peanuts. Leroy, watch those shells.
Oh, look, there's Bronco and Marjorie.
Yeah, you can't miss Bronco. What a moose.
Aren't they cute together?
Yeah. You care to put your coat over the back of the seat? Get it off your shoulders?
Thank you.
Nice evening gown. Love concerts.
Shh, Throckmorton, the curtain is going up.
Ladies and gentlemen, on this Christmas Eve, it is our pleasure to present the Kraft Choral Club under the direction of Gerhard Schroff.
Well, fine-looking group, all in tuxedos.
To
Catherine, I'm going to give you a little preview of a surprise I have for Marjorie tonight. What do you think of this?
Oh, what a gorgeous ring.
I beg your pardon. Oh, excuse me, please.
Oop, the judge, late again.
Well, Gildy. Good evening, Miss Milford.
Good evening, Judge Hooker.
Sit down, Judge. You're interrupting something important.
I am? Oh, are you presenting your lady fair with a ring?
Oh, for...
Judge, please. This is Throckmorton's gift to Marjorie.
Yeah.
Horace, why don't you drop over after the concert and watch Marjorie's eyes light up when she sees this, huh?
Thank you, Gildy. I'll be happy to.
Yeah, the Peavies are coming over.
They're about to sing again, Throckmorton.
Yeah, I'd invite all the craft singers, too, but I'm afraid Bertie might run out of cheese and crackers.
Throckmorton, hush.
Oh, yeah.
Beautiful music. I think this is the best part of Christmas Eve.
Very nice, Judge. Wait till we get over to our house. And Marjorie starts opening her presents. Oh, brother, I can hardly wait.
The Great Gildersleeve will return in just a minute. Santa Claus season is pretty expensive, isn't it? Well, if the holiday ahead might put your food budget in the red, here's how to economize now so you'll be prepared for the splurge meals. Use up leftovers tomorrow and Friday and Saturday by dressing them up with the wonderful cheese sauce you can make with Kraft's smooth-melting cheese food Velveeta. You see, you can pour this Velveeta sauce over leftovers, ham or veal or fish, or just over toast for an economical hot main dish you can make in a jiffy. That sauce will help you economize after Christmas, too, when you serve it with the last bits of the Christmas bird. For that tasty sauce, all you do is melt 1/2 pound of Velveeta in the top of your double boiler. Then gradually stir in 1/4 cup of milk and season to taste. That's all there is to it for a sauce that'll give your main dish a grand, rich, yet mild cheddar cheese flavor. And fine nourishment, too, because Velveeta is rich in important food values from milk. So for a wide variety of hot main dishes that are really economical, use good-eating Velveeta, the cheese food that's as digestible as milk itself. When you buy, be sure you get genuine Velveeta. It's the cheese food of top quality, made only by Kraft. Well, the folks have just come home from the Christmas Eve concert, and it's getting close to the big moment the Great Gildersleeve has been waiting for.
Marjorie, you and Catherine come over by the fire. Bronco, why don't you throw another log on?
What? Oh, sure, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Bronco, that's the footstool.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gildersleeve. I don't know what I was thinking about.
He's excited tonight, Unky.
What's everybody so excited about?
It's Christmas Eve, Unc. Let's light the tree and open the packages.
Well, better light the tree, I guess. Where's that plug? Yeah. Get ready, everybody. Here go the lights.
Oh, it's perfectly beautiful, Throckmorton.
Yeah, that's quite a tree.
Isn't it wonderful? Oh, it's very effective with all those lights bubbling.
Well, I'm sort of a bubbly fellow, too, around Christmas time. Why shouldn't I be? Got a lot of good friends and a wonderful little family.
You certainly have, Throckmorton.
Yes, sir, I've raised 2 fine children, and they mean all the world to me.
We go through this every year, Miss Milford. Leroy.
Well, I mean it. I appreciate you more and more every year.
We appreciate you, too, Unc. Now let's open the presents.
Yeah, let's open the presents.
My surprise to you comes last, Unky.
Well, I have a surprise for you, too, Marjorie, but wait a minute. We can't open presents till the others get here.
What others?
You mean you're expecting somebody else, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Well, I invited Judge Hooker and the Peavies.
But, Uncle Mort, we thought it was just to be the family and Miss Milford.
Yeah, that's what we thought, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Well, Marjorie, I sort of wanted the judge and the Peavies to see what I have for you.
Yeah, what's wrong with having them over at Christmas? They always bring presents.
Leroy is being very practical about this.
Yeah, Christmas to Leroy is like bank night.
Yeah.
Bronco, let's bring some more chairs in from the dining room, huh? Say, where's Bronco? Did he fall in the fireplace?
I think he went in your den, Unky.
Oh?
Mr. Gildersleeve?
Yes, Bronco?
May I see you for a minute?
Certainly. Excuse me, everybody. Deck the halls with flowers and holly.
Do you mind if we close the door, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Close the door? Is it that secret?
Well, it's about the surprise Marjorie was telling you about.
Well, don't tell me now, Bronco. I want to wait for it.
I think I should tell you, Mr. Gildersleeve, before the others come.
Huh? What difference does that make?
Well, we planned this for just you and the family. Marjorie and I were going to stand up by the tree hand in hand and give you your surprise.
Cute.
I was going to make the speech.
You? A speech?
Yes, sir. I was going to tell you that Marjorie and I want to be married.
Married? Well, sure, maybe sometime, Bronco.
Not sometime, Mr. Gildersleeve. This is definite. I'm asking you if I may marry Marjorie.
Marry Marjorie? Little Marjorie? So, this is her surprise, eh?
I love her, Mr. Gildersleeve.
Yes.
And Marjorie loves me. That's pretty important.
Yeah, I guess it is.
We've been thinking about it for a long time. I guess it's sort of sudden to you, but... Well, what do you think, Mr. Gildersleeve? We aren't going to do anything hasty, sir. We weren't even planning it until spring. Late spring. June, maybe? That's long enough to wait. Don't you think so, Mr. Gildersleeve?
I've never thought about it at all.
Well, you'll probably get used to the idea of not having Marge around by then. Wouldn't you? I've been saving my money. In fact, Marge and I aren't giving each other much for Christmas. We're looking ahead. I want to be able to take good care of Marjorie, Mr. Gildersleeve. Of course, we wouldn't do anything without your permission. So, what do you think, Mr. Gildersleeve?
Bronco, I think the other guests have arrived by now. Will you tell them I'll be out in a minute?
Of course, Mr. Gildersleeve. I'll tell them.
Little Marge. Can't believe it. Just can't imagine this house without her. Couldn't bear to go into her little room again, where I used to tuck her in, read her bedtime stories, care for her when she had measles, chickenpox. I've worked and sacrificed to raise Marjorie. Now, when she means the most to me, somebody wants to take her away. That boy has his nerve. Who does he think he is? Who is it?
It's Catherine Throckmorton.
Oh.
Judge Hooker and the Peavies are outside. Don't you think you should join the party?
Well, I have some thinking to do. Catherine?
Yes?
Bronco and Marjorie want to get married.
Oh, I suspected something like that. Isn't it wonderful?
What's so wonderful about it?
Why, Throckmorton, I should think you'd be very proud and happy.
Happy? How would you feel if your Christmas surprise meant losing your daughter?
Well, I suppose I'm thinking more about Marjorie's happiness and Bronco's. How radiant she looks tonight and what it will mean to them. Try to remember, Throckmorton, that a mother wants more than anything else to have her daughter marry a nice young man. Somebody who will be kind and good to her. Bronco will.
My Marjorie.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. Give me a little time, Catherine.
Anybody want more cocoa and popcorn balls?
Oh, no, thank you, Bertie.
Gosh, where's Unc? It's time to open the presents.
Now, Leroy, let's not be impatient.
Unc has a present under the tree for you, Judge.
He has? Where is Gildy?
Of course, when he comes out, he ought to start handing out to the little kids first.
Well, they say age before beauty, Leroy. Perhaps Peavy should receive his present first. He's the oldest man here.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that.
Marjorie, while we're waiting for the Lord of the Manor, perhaps you'll play the piano for us.
Oh, Judge, I couldn't. I'm too excited tonight.
Well, here comes Mr. Gildersleeve.
I'm sorry if I kept everybody waiting.
What have you been doing, Gildy? Hibernating in your den?
Come on, Unc. I want to see what Santa Claus brought.
Yes, it is time to pass out the presents, isn't it? Leroy, we'll start with you. Here you are, my boy.
Oh, boy, thanks, Unc.
And Bertie, here's a package with your name on it.
Thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve. Old Santa Claus never forgets Bertie.
Now we come to Marjorie. I said I had a special surprise for her tonight.
Oh, that's nice.
A number of years ago, my mother gave me her engagement ring. I guess she secretly hoped that someday I'd give it to a girl and start a little family. Well, I have a little family. A fine niece and nephew. But I haven't been very lucky on the other score. And so this Christmas, I thought I'd present my mother's ring to Marjorie.
Oh, Unky.
Splendid idea.
But something has happened tonight which forces me to change my plans. Instead of giving the ring to Marjorie, I want to give it to Bronco to give to Marjorie.
Me, Mr. Gildersleeve? You want me to give it to her?
Here, Bronco. Read the card.
To Marjorie, for always, from Bronco.
Bronco is joining our little family.
Oh, Unky, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gildersleeve, very much. We hadn't planned to have an engagement ring.
I hope you'll be very happy, both of you.
Let me shake your hand, my boy.
I'm so happy for you, Marjorie.
Gosh, Unc, is Marjorie leaving us?
Well, let's not talk about that now, huh, my boy? Bertie, isn't it time for your little Christmas song?
Yes, sir, if Miss Marjorie feels like playing the piano. I never felt more like it in my life.
Fine. This is a little lullaby Bertie always sang to the children since Marjorie was this high.
Lay thou little tiny child, bye-bye, lay thou little tiny child, bye-bye,
Christmas ever.
And now Mr. Harold Perry steps out of his role as the Great Gildersleeve
To wish you all a very Merry Christmas. You know, we don't often get a chance to tell you listeners how much your enthusiasm and support mean to the group of people who bring you this program every week. But we mean very sincerely that if hearing the program gives you one half the pleasure that bringing it to you gives to us, we're more than satisfied. We're glad that we have this opportunity to come into your homes and wish you all the joys and blessings of the holiday season. So it's a Merry Christmas to all of you from all of us. Walter Tetley,
Leroy,
Mary Lee Robb,
Marjorie,
Lillian Randolph,
Bertie,
Earl Ross,
Judge Hooker,
Kathy Lewis,
Katie Milford,
Dick Crenna,
Bronco,
and Dick LeGrand.
Mr. Peavy.
Yeah. And a Merry Christmas, too, from all the people behind the scenes. From Jack Meakin and the orchestra, writers Paul West, John Elliott, and Andy White. From Ray Ferguson and Monty Frazier, our engineer and sound effects artist. And from our producer-director, Fran Van Hartesveld. And, of course, these holiday greetings come to you, too, from our sponsors, the Kraft Foods Company, their representative on this program, announcer Jay Stewart, the Kraft Choral Club, and the entire family of Kraft employees. Merry Christmas, everybody, and good night.
Ladies, Pabstet, the delicious cheddar cheese food, is offering you a knife of 100 uses, the Super Slicer. It pares faster, slices cleaner, removes olives and cherries from bottles in a jiffy. It's the handiest kitchen knife in years. And you can get this knife for only 25 cents and the top label of a round package of delicious Pabstet cheese food or the red arrow from the top of a 2-pound Pabstet loaf. Send your Pabstet label and your quarter tonight to Phoenix Pabstet, Box 5239, Chicago 77, Illinois. Please print your return address.
Portions of tonight's broadcast were transcribed. Break the Bank, radio's biggest money-paying show, is next on NBC.
In homes where macaroni and spaghetti are a traditional dish, the overwhelming favorite is La Rosa. La Rosa, America's largest selling macaroni, spaghetti, and egg noodles, presents radio's greatest daytime dramatic program. The La Rosa Hollywood Theater of Stars.
Thank you, and greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. This is C.P. McGregor speaking. Welcome to the La Rosa Hollywood Theater of Stars, radio's greatest daytime dramatic program. Every day, a complete 30-minute drama from Hollywood. Every day, a famous Hollywood star. Our star today is lovely Margot. And the title of our play, Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary. There's an excellent performance awaiting you, so we'll move right along. Act one of Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary in just a moment. But first, here's Wendell Niles to tell you how to turn contrary frowns into happy, delighted smiles.
Yes, ladies, I want to tell you about a surefire way to perk up the most contrary appetite. There'll be smiles galore when you serve a tasty treat made with La Rosa macaroni or spaghetti. And there's a reason for those happy smiles. In fact, there are 3 reasons. That's because La Rosa is 3 ways best. Here's how. 1, La Rosa products are made exclusively from finest semolina. And semolina, as you know, is the pure golden heart of costlier durum wheat. In La Rosa macaroni, you're getting nature's own cream of the crop, durum wheat semolina. You'll taste the delicious difference. And point 2, La Rosa's exclusive slow curing process holds every bit of that natural semolina goodness. Locks it in so you savor that full, rich flavor. Gives it that delightful, firm yet tender texture. And point 3 is a great new feature. All La Rosa macaroni products are enriched. Now you're sure to get those essential vitamins and minerals that help guard your family's health. Yes, it's simple as 1, 2, 3. 1, durum wheat semolina. 2, exclusive La Rosa slow curing. 3 enriched. It all adds up, ladies, to better macaroni, spaghetti, and egg noodles. La Rosa Grade A. Now back to the La Rosa Hollywood Theater of Stars and our producer, C.P. McGregor.
Now, Act One of Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary, starring Margot as Mary. On the old coast road, just a few miles from Fenton's Ferry, is the cozy little cottage. A beautiful garden of flowers in front, and in the back, there's a promise of a vegetable garden, taking slow form under the guiding but inexperienced hands of Maria Kent.
Let me see. No, I think the carrots should go there. Over here, they're a little too near the radishes. Yellow and red entirely too much on the peasant order. I'll put them there.
Mary, Mary, quite contrary, how does your garden grow?
What on earth are you...
With silver bells and cockle shells and carrots all in a row. Need any help?
I certainly do not need any help. Who are you?
Your neighbor.
But I haven't any neighbor. Oh, you must live in that...
In that shack at the next turning? Right. Jefferson Patterson Smith at your service. Now, your radishes are too close together, and if you're planning to deposit those carrot seeds in a furrow that deep, my dear lady, you may count on their never looking up out of the earth at you some bright summer morning and saying, how do you do?
But...
That would be a shame, for even a lonely carrot has a right to glimpse such beauty as yours. Do you ever model?
Certainly not. And the directions on this seed envelope say carrots are to be planted 8 inches deep. These furrows are 8 inches deep. I measured them with a tape line.
Oh, read your envelope again, carefully. 1/8 of an inch deep. 1/8.
Oh, I can read very well. I can see right... Oh, you're right. Oh, dear, and after carefully measuring the whole row...
Now, here, it's easy to remedy. You just level off 2/3 of the dirt and take your finger so... See? Now, give me the seeds.
Oh, careful. They'll never grow if you're so careless with them.
I think I'll have to come over here every day and tend it. That's when the work starts, when these little devils begin to grow. In fact, I may have to come over twice a day.
Thank you very much, but I'll be able to manage quite nicely by myself. And now that you've planted my garden, you no doubt have a million other things to do, so... Good morning, Mr. Smith.
On the contrary, dear lady, I've absolutely nothing to do. The day stretches before me. A book to be opened, an adventure to be lived, a dream to be discovered. Only, I've already discovered the dream. A dream I've had for a long, long time.
Mr. Smith, I'm not in the least interested in your romantic fantasies. I've a lot of practical things to do, such as getting luncheon.
But there's nothing practical about luncheon, not the right sort of luncheon, shared with the right sort of person.
By any chance... Are you asking me to invite you to lunch?
It's not a bad idea. No one else has asked me, and I'm open to invitations.
Very well, Mr. Smith. I shall ask you.
And I, gracious lady, shall accept.
Lunch is at 1.
I shall be there at 1:15.
Good, for I'm sure you and my husband will find a great deal in common.
You what?
Good morning, Mr. Smith. 1:45. Don't forget.
No, that's the way I see it. Logic. That's all it takes, logic. Good, hard, sound logic. Isn't that what you say, Mr. Smith?
No, I didn't say it. You did.
So I did. And very well said, too, if I do say so myself. Very well said indeed. Any more of that delicious souffle, my dear?
No, Hector, darling, that's everything.
I always say you never have too much of a good thing. Isn't that what I always say, sweetheart?
That's what you always say, Hector. More coffee, Mr. Smith?
No, thanks. I always say too little of a good thing always leaves a promise for the morrow.
I think there's a phrase somewhere. It's been used for titles in the movies quite often, I think. Something about tomorrow never comes. You'd better have more coffee.
I don't go to the movies. My philosophy is something that I've worked out for myself.
It must have taken you some time. Shall we adjourn into the sunroom, gentlemen? Would you like your slippers, Hector? Hector always likes to be comfortable.
I can see that he would.
A very observing young man, my dear. What did you say you did, Mrs. Smith?
I didn't.
Oh.
Mr. Smith is a gardener.
Well, you don't say. A very interesting profession. A very sound profession, I might add. Tell me, what do you think about this plan of Bittings to make girdles out of peanuts?
A great mistake. What we need to do is to develop the human figure so there's no need for girdles. Now, just take yourself, for example, Mr. Oh, my goodness, it just occurred to me I don't know your names. That is, outside of Hector and Mary.
Kent.
Just take yourself, Mr. Kent.
Mr. Smith, I'm sure you must have 101 things to do. We won't keep you. It's been quite charming. Good afternoon, Mr. Smith.
Oh, but I wasn't going.
Well, no, Mary. Mr. Smith wasn't going. He was just going to tell me about, what was it you were going to tell me about, anyway? Go right ahead. Go right ahead, young man.
It was about your figure, old man. It isn't what it should be. Now, let me tell you of a place I know about that's just... Pete. Hey, Pete. Come on in, Hector.
Yeah.
Well, oh, excuse me.
Pete, this is Mr. Hector Kent. I've been telling him about your little establishment. I told him that in 6 weeks of concentrated work, you could make a new man of it.
Make a new man of him? Why, Mr. Kent, you haven't any idea what we can do. We build bone, develop your muscle, take 10 years off your look. Of course, in your case, we could make it 15. You're really a young man, Mr. Kent, but you don't know it.
Well, I always had young ideas, if I do say so myself.
I told Mr. Kent he'd have to stay right here. Live on the premises, not stir out of here for 6 weeks. It's only fair to give you every opportunity.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Kent. 6 weeks, and you'll never know yourself.
Well, I don't know about this, Mr. Smith. You know how Mary acted when she finds out about...
Don't you worry about a thing, Hector. I'll take care of the little woman. I'll explain the whole thing to her. She'll understand. Now, you just leave that part of your problem up to me. Your job is to become a new man. Young again, vigorous, hearty.
Oh, Mr. Smith, do you think it can be done?
Pete here can do anything. Can't you, Pete? Or can you?
Oh, yes, it'll take some dough, though, Mr. Kent.
Money's no object to Mr. Kent. That's right. I'm going to do it, Mr. Smith. No matter what Mary says. I've done exactly as she told me for 3 years, 3 long years. I'm entitled to a little independence of my own. Now, I always say...
Yes, I know, Hector. Will you just tell Pete what you always say? Goodbye, Pete.
Goodbye, Jeff.
And remember, 6 weeks, Hector. We'll be expecting you, Mary and I. So long.
Well, what do you suppose he meant by that?
Hello there.
Oh, you. Where's Hector?
Mary, quite contrary.
Don't recite Mother Goose to me. Tell me where Hector is.
He said to expect him in 6 weeks, not before.
What?
Well, not the same Hector exactly. A new Hector. Young, vigorous, 15 years younger, with biceps to match.
You sold him on that idea? Of all the low-down, contemptible tricks, taking advantage of a man like Hector.
Taking advantage of him? My dear young woman, when he comes out of retirement, you'll never know him. You'll have a husband, not a pair of animated house slippers.
I like house slippers. They're comfortable. I don't want to be torn and twisted by emotion. I don't want to be a slave to some man's conception of a woman's places in the home. I want to do as I please, live my own life, and now look what you've done.
Mary, listen, it's moonlight. We're only a quarter of a mile from the sea. How long since you've looked at the sea by moonlight?
3 years. And the last time I looked at the sea by moonlight, I made a vow I'd never do it again. At least not with anyone else.
And why not?
Because, it's none of your darn business. And keep away from here. You think you've been very smart putting Hector away for 6 weeks. Well, let me tell you that not once in all those 6 weeks will you set eyes on me. I'm going so far away from here and from you that the planet Jupiter will be near in comparison. Now, go home, or whatever you spend your nights, you won't.
The curtain falls on Act One of Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary, starring lovely Margot. Our glamorous star and our distinguished cast of La Rosa radio players will return shortly for Act Two.
CP, the title of our La Rosa play today was taken from an old nursery rhyme, Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary. And that reminds me of a recent school survey in which children were asked to vote for their favorite dish. They voted spaghetti their #1 choice. So to all you mothers listening, here's a tip on how to serve a holiday treat every day. Surprise the children, and Dad too, with a heaping, tantalizing dish of spaghetti with meatballs a la Rosa. All you need is some chopped meat, tomato sauce, a few other ingredients, and La Rosa Grade A thin spaghetti. It's a wonderfully satisfying meal for 6, yet it's so easy, so inexpensive, so heavenly delicious. Yes, and it's one of the most healthful foods you can find. Packed with protein, rich in energy, enriched with extra vitamins and minerals. Try this delightful La Rosa dish or any one of dozens of other nutritious La Rosa meals made with meats and cheese, chicken and fish, with all sorts of delicious sauces. Plan a La Rosa treat for your family tonight or tomorrow, sure. Ask your grocer for La Rosa. That's L-A, capital R-O-S-A, La Rosa elbow macaroni or spaghetti, or those fluffy golden La Rosa egg noodles. Everybody loves La Rosa. 3 ways best La Rosa. 1, Durham Heat Semolina. 2, exclusive La Rosa slow curing. 3, enriched for extra nutrition. It costs no more, so be sure you get La Rosa. Remember, it's a full pound.
Now, Act 2 of Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary, starring Margot as Mary. And so the lady vanished. Next day, the young man came to tend the garden and found, on an obvious nearby bench, the address to which she had gone. He looked, then went on weeding the garden. Meanwhile, at the address...
Yes, Mrs. Camp? Oh, clerk, are you sure no one has been asking for me? Mr. Smith.
There have been no messages at all, madam.
But it's been 3 days.
There are still no messages, madam.
Oh. Well, you will remember, won't you, if anyone does ask for me, especially a Mr. Smith. I'm not in, understand?
Quite.
I'll be in my room. But, of course, I don't want to be disturbed. You do have my correct room number?
Suite 12, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, I guess there couldn't have been any mistake. He just isn't coming, that's all.
You mean Mr. Smith?
Yes, Mr. Smith. Oh, clerk, you may as well give me my bill.
Oh, yes, of course, madam.
You see, I have some business to attend to elsewhere.
And in case there are any messages, madam, shall you leave a forwarding address?
Oh, yes, I will be at 44 Park Row, New York City. But remember, don't give it to anybody, under any circumstances.
Especially Mr. Smith.
Especially. My bill, please.
For Pete's sake, Aunt Caroline, what's going on around here? A carnival?
Jefferson, you dear, dear boy. How wonderful to see you. My, how well you look. Bermuda?
No, wet nursing a row of carrots.
Don't tell me you've taken up gardening.
With a vengeance.
My dear, surely it can't be the new clothing fashions in your case. Oh, but I must tell you what I've done. I've unroofed the penthouse. And we're putting in a corn patch up there. Oh, it'll be delightful, walking through the corn with the lights of Park Avenue miles below us. And, Jeff, whatever do you think? Our new butler knows how to make corn whiskey. It'll go so nicely with the garden, don't you think?
Just ducky. Hey, what's that over there?
You naughty boy. That's a girl.
I can see that, but what's she got on?
Don't tell me you're interested in what women wear these days. You've certainly changed if you are.
Isn't it a little odd for afternoon tea, that costume, I mean?
No, but this isn't afternoon tea. I'm having a preview of some of Maria Kent's newest garden creation.
You're having a... Wait a minute, say that over.
Surely you must have heard of Maria Kent. She designs women's sport and outdoor clothes. And this year she's gone all out for garden frocks. Would you like to stay?
Is Miss Kent coming?
Goodness, no. Miss Kent never goes out. She's a businesswoman. Never permits frivolity to interfere with her career. I wish more women were like her.
And I'll see you later, Aunt Caroline. And don't buy too many of those fancy get-ups. Be seeing you.
That's it, Hector. Lay into that punching bag.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy, do I feel good.
Well, look at us.
Oh, hello, Jeff.
Hello there.
Yes, Mr. Kent's new man, Jeff. Just like I said, the old boy's really been working at it. Just feel them.
Jeff, my boy, this is a pleasure. Yes, indeed, a real pleasure. How about a workout?
No, thanks. I'm not in condition. Later, maybe.
Well, Jeff, how's Mary?
I don't know. She's back in New York, I guess.
Oh, well, that's all right, then. As long as she's working, she doesn't even know whether I'm around or not. You know, if it wasn't for that dang dress business, she'd be a real nice girl.
Hector, how would you like to sell Maria Kent Incorporated?
What's that?
You could sell it, couldn't you, without Mary knowing anything about it?
Oh, sure. I control the corporation. It's like selling a movie studio. The star goes with it. You're not thinking of buying it by any chance?
That's just what I am thinking of.
Well, my boy, sit right down and let's have a talk, a good long talk. Now, first of all, if you do buy, there's something I have to explain.
Oh, yes. We'll have to order 15 more rolls of the poplin. Blue, I think. We'll have more blondes this season. And Eda Lou says gentlemen are preferring them again. At any rate, the men are. And, oh, dear. Poplin. Gingham. Where was I?
15 rolls of the poplin for the men. I mean...
It's probably just what you do mean. Oh, if I could ever find a secretary whose mind wasn't everlastingly on men.
Oh, why don't you get a male secretary?
Well, their minds are on women. I want a secretary whose minds are on their work. Oh, you'd better leave. Join the army, the Marines, but don't come back till it's up to your system.
Yes,
no
Mrs.
wonder
Kent.
we've got inefficiency and bottlenecks around here, and nobody can ever get it.
Hello.
Oh, who let you in?
I walked in. The doors are open. Your office force is very understanding. I said I was madly in love with you and had to see you, and they practically pushed me in.
Oh, you didn't say anything like that.
But, my dear lady, I did. I never tell a lie.
What are you doing here? What do you want?
I thought you might like to know about your garden.
Oh, the carrots?
2 inches high.
No, already.
And the radishes, delicious.
You've been eating them. You brute.
There are cucumbers, too. You didn't know about those.
Was there room?
Mm-hmm, and tomatoes, too, and a roll of beans.
It was so sweet of you to take care of them.
You see, I kept thinking you might come back.
Oh, in 6 weeks I may be back. Hector and I, of course.
You've rather mislaid Hector, haven't you?
Hector always turns up eventually. How is he, by the way?
I think you'll find him quite changed.
That's unfortunate. I adored Hector the way he was.
Slippers and all?
Hector has never failed me. That's more than I can say for any other man I've met.
You wouldn't mean me on account of that address you so conveniently left behind.
Why, the very of all the... So, you did find it. And you didn't come. Not that I would have seen you, of course. I left strict orders I was not to be disturbed.
That's what I imagined. That's why I didn't waste my time.
Oh, sure, it can't be very valuable. You seem to have plenty of time in which to do absolutely nothing.
I grow a darn good garden.
Oh, I would like to see the garden. It was so pleasant there. The sun was warm, the things were growing. It made one feel, well, that there was a future someplace after all for all of us.
Mary, you must have been pretty hurt once.
Yes, I guess I was. Only I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking of everybody, of the world. Such a mess. And yet, when you work in a garden, when you see new life, it makes you understand that nothing ever ends, really.
Mary, quite contrary. You're adorable. And I love you.
How dare... Don't forget, there's Hector.
Just for one day, let's forget Hector. He's got Pete in a punching bag. Let's go down to Fenton's Ferry and see how the garden's coming along.
I shouldn't. It isn't right. I'm a married woman, and you've no right to ask me either. But before you change your mind, I'm saying yes. When do we leave?
Right now. We'll be there in an hour.
Oh, they're adorable. But they seem so helpless there all by themselves. Don't they get cold at night?
A little, perhaps. But no doubt they have ways of keeping each other warm.
Silly.
Sorry you came.
Not yet.
Don't be sorry. Don't ever be sorry for anything. You know, that's the trouble with you, Mary. Just try and forget that you were ever unhappy. Remember, you're happy now.
I didn't say I was happy now. I said I wasn't sorry I came. Yet.
But you are happy. I can tell by the look in your eyes.
Yes, Jeff, I am happy. Darn it. I'd like to live here always, right here in this little house. Never go back to town, never go back to that office. Oh, just stay here.
Mary, them words do my heart good. Now you're talking like a woman.
Jeff, you're no good and I ought to hate you. But I don't.
That's the spirit. Now we're getting someplace. You're honest now. I've been waiting for that.
How can you talk about honesty when you are not honest? They have names for people like you. Men who go around trying to steal other men's wives.
They have names for wives who let other men try to steal them. You should be as ashamed as I.
But the very idea of your wanting to, it's disgraceful. If you weren't so darn attractive, I wouldn't have a thing to do with you. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to. I'm going back to town right
Mary,
now. This very minute.
As long as you've come, as long as you've given me this much time, you might as well give me the whole day. It won't make me less dishonorable to go home now.
I loathe and despise you. But I love you, too.
An hour more and the moon will be up, Mary. We've never seen the moonlight on the water together.
I must go. I must. If I stay, I'll make a fool of myself. I've got to go, Jeff.
Wait for the moon, and then if you still want to, we'll say goodbye.
All right. I'll wait.
Thank you. You're very beautiful.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that. But I'm glad you did. For I'm sure now. It must be goodbye, Jeff, for always.
You think so?
Jeff, what's your job? You must do something.
Do you really want to know? Does it matter to you?
Not at all, really. But I'm so afraid that we're completely different.
Not too much. You see, I'm a designer, too. Only with me, it's cars and airplanes. You take care of the girls, and I take care of the guys. Only, there's one guy you ought to care for, Mary.
Jeff.
When you rented this cottage to get away from everything, well, you never met the landlord. But I own the place. It was too lonesome living here alone. But if you like it here as much as you say, I'm sure your Uncle Hector wouldn't object to your...
Uncle Hector? Then you know?
I didn't know at first.
Oh.
But I began to suspect pretty quick, and when I bought Maria Kent Incorporated, of course, the truth came out. That's why I bought it, to find out.
Oh, you double-crossed.
Steady, honey. You're talking about your future husband.
Oh, Jeff, what am I going to do with you?
Marry me this very day, and we'll not share the secret with anyone except maybe the radishes.
You are a goose. But, Jeff, I've got to explain to you why I invented a husband. It was to...
To ward off guys like me. Now tell the truth.
Yes, it was. I didn't trust them. Or myself either, I guess. And I didn't want to be hurt again. I was afraid. But I'm all right now. I'm not afraid anymore. Not with you.
And so the curtain falls in the second act of Mary, Mary, Quite Contrary. Our star, Margot, will be back to our La Rosa microphone in just a moment.
In homes where macaroni and spaghetti are a traditional dish, the overwhelming favorite is La Rosa. La Rosa, America's largest-selling macaroni, spaghetti, and egg noodles. Only La Rosa offers all three great features. 1, Durum wheat semolina. 2, exclusive La Rosa slow curing. 3, enriched for extra nutrition. And you taste the delicious difference. Serve your family La Rosa Grade A macaroni tonight. Get the brand with a big red rose on each box. Get La Rosa. And remember, it's a full pound. Now here's our star, Margot, and our producer.
Thanks for a top performance, Margot. But then that's an old habit of yours. Actually, I know of no one in show business who has chalked up a more remarkable record of accomplishments. First, that matter you and your famous uncle, Xavier Cugat, collaborated so successfully on, that of introducing Latin American dances here in this country.
That's right, P.P. As a kid, I danced in theaters and hotels, and between these engagements, I worked as a dancer in pictures. Meanwhile, I continued studying dancing from one of the finest, Eduardo Cancino, one of the famous dancing casinos.
Oh, yes, and the father of quite a talented and attractive daughter, too, Rita Hayworth by name. It seems like only yesterday when you were selected to make a series of shortwave goodwill broadcasts to our Latin American neighbors.
Being an American citizen, yet with Mexico my birthplace, I naturally have a very great love for both countries, and it was wonderful to work even in a small way in furthering the good relations of the country of my birth and the country where I've grown up.
You are a wonderful ambassador, Margot, and a beautiful one. Thank you for being with us, and we look forward to your next visit.
It's always a very pleasant event to look forward to, C.P., appearing for you and your fine sponsor.
Both our fine sponsor, La Rosa, and I appreciate your thoughtfulness. And now, before you leave, Margot, and ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that tomorrow, Audrey Long will be our star. And the play title is The Day Before Christmas. Join us tomorrow at the same time. Until then, thanks for listening, and cheerio from Hollywood.
Listen every weekday to radio's greatest daytime dramatic program. Listen to the La Rosa Hollywood Theater of Stars. Every day a complete 30-minute drama from Hollywood. Every day a famous Hollywood star. Brought to you Monday through Friday by V. La Rosa and Sons. Makers of La Rosa Grade A. America's largest selling macaroni, spaghetti, and egg noodles. In homes where macaroni and spaghetti are a traditional dish, the overwhelming favorite is La Rosa. Program came to you transcribed direct from Hollywood. Your announcer is Wendell Niles. Here's important news for mothers. New impartial survey reveals that over 9 out of 10 doctors recommend pastina as a food for young children. And no wonder. Pastina is so naturally digestible, so full of essential food elements, so delicious. Treat your child today to La Rosa Enriched Pastina. Tiny, tender, golden rings of durum wheat semolina, plus protein-rich egg yolk. And it's enriched. Remember, over 9 out of 10 doctors recommend pastina for children. Get La Rosa Enriched Pastina today. Don't just say pastina, say La Rosa Enriched Pastina.
Charlie? Sure. It's the Basil Jelly Show from coast to coast. And now we'd like to... Hey, look, will you fix that technical equipment in there, please? Hello, folks. This is a big noise from Winnetka. Wait a minute. Ed, you left one foot in the air there.
Oh,
Right down.
sure. Well, it was awfully nice of you to brush it off anyway.
Yeah.
Good afternoon and welcome, friends, to our program called...
I believe our announcer mentioned something else at the opening of
What
today's
did he
show. I
say?
think he called this the Basil Jelly Program.
The Basil Jelly Show, presented every day, Monday through Saturday, from 1 to 1:30, for our pleasure. That is Bob's and mine. Bill has a wonderful time here. And so
Only members of our staff are eligible. Nobody else need apply.
Nobody except our own staff members, our own families, our own advertising agencies, and their employees.
Right.
They're the only ones that can enter.
Our
You people
sponsors
can't
apply.
You folks can't get in on this big thing. It's a little contest and prize that we're running just amongst ourselves. Now then.
Howdy, Ray.
Hello,
Howdy, Bob. Howdy, Bill.
Hello there, Al.
Howdy, Basil.
Hello.
Hello, Charlie. And it's mighty nice to be here, too, even though I did have to come back into this cold weather.
Where have you been?
Nome, Alaska.
What's that?
Nome, Alaska.
You've been in Nome, Alaska?
They were playing up there last night for 2 big shows.
Yeah, I hope
A gala midnight celebration.
Was it heated?
Oh, it was nice and warm up there.
Oh.
Warmer up there than it is down here, Ray. You'd be very happy to know, I'm sure.
I bet the Weather Bureau would like to hear that.
Ran into Santa Claus up there, too.
Well, isn't that wonderful? And they say...
He's getting a jump on Christmas Eve. He's moving out of the North Pole a little early this year.
He is. Well, of course, he has a lot of toys to distribute.
Well, he wants to get a good start.
Good. And he'll get around, I hope, like he always
He
has.
told me he'd be around to all the little boys and girls.
Isn't that wonderful, huh?
That he'd be able to make the rounds all right.
Sure. Well, that's good, kids. How about like? You like that? So he's coming, kids. So So don't you worry.
Boy,
He'll
how
be
many
here.
more days before he comes? Today's the 16th. About
8.
23, 4.
That's 8, isn't it? Yeah,
8
it's
shopping
Friday.
days,
Sure.
huh?
8. Mm-hmm. 8 more days. 8 shopping days to Christmas, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got everything.
I know when I'm going to do mine.
I've
8 days from now.
You shouldn't do that, Bob. Now,
No,
I'm
you
one of
shouldn't.
those. I'm one of
Well,
those fellows that I get more fun Christmas shopping in a heat wave in July.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I get right into the spirit of Christmas. Always summertime, and that's when I do a lot of my Christmas shopping. And the stores are cool, and practically empty in a real hot spell, and I get down here and shop to my heart's content.
You're going to burn
I
my
have
necktie
several
green.
heart's
Burn it on one
content
of the
left
brown
over.
spots, will you?
And if anyone listening in would like a used heart's content, simply address a postcard to Heart's Content, this station. I have 3 or 4 nicely wrapped Heart's Content that I'm willing to send out to you.
Now, ladies, stand by for the new program, the serial show, Heart's Content.
Beautiful. Where's our piano player?
What are you paid for? To play the piano, Green?
Go on,
call
Green.
upon you. Heart's Content. Mm-hmm. Shall I introduce it again?
Sure.
Ladies, here is your new program, just for you, Heart's Content.
Oh, no, Bill.
That doesn't quite fit. It needs to be
Oh,
a little
no.
more sophisticated.
Oh, Bill, a little more sturdily, you know? That doesn't fit the setting.
Something that fits a romantic serial story.
Sounds like you're practicing with your left hand. That's it. I like it. Gee, that great. I plucked a rose and put it in my mouth and danced about the house.
Remember, giving is the sincerest form of remembrance.
That makes sense.
Now it's Heart's Content, starring Marcia Van Alshot as Marge, Sherman L. Thirdley as Gregory.
Right.
We find Gregory and Marge in their small house in River's End. See, we have to change the script a little bit for this.
Tell the piano player that the
scene is
ladies
over.
and gentlemen, Bill Green and his piano. All right, are you through, Bill? Thanks a lot. As we look in on Gregory and Marge, they're talking about old times.
Gregory, I remember those old...
Gregory.
I wish you'd take those old times out and burn them.
Yes, they've piled up down there in the cellar.
Oh, lands.
Here's one from 1903. That was the year we were trotting the boards in Toledo, and
I always will remember that.
I remember
Gregory.
that cold December night when we stepped out on stage, smiled at the assembled throng,
And I had a tooth missing.
and our piano player vamped into our opening number.
And then as I remember, he fell, didn't he?
I believe he did, and we never did get on that time. And then we moved on to even greater things. Remember Peoria?
Oh, how kind of you to remember. I'll never forget it. I was in my dressing room with a star on the door.
A knock sounded, and it was me.
Come in.
I came in, and I said, hello.
Hi.
Then I went out again and went on stage for my great balancing act.
I remember you were doing a tap dance in sneakers.
I can just see me now, tap dancing there.
I can too, David. Or Gregory. Or Eugene.
You called me and left out.
Yes, Eugene. Come down here and tell us about the time you were tap dancing in army shoes.
I remember the time I tap danced in army shoes. Did I ever tell you about that?
No. Tell us about it, Uncle.
Wonderful time. My 3 brothers and I were working out a routine.
I see.
Routine that we did from coast to coast for many a long moon.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Our biggest success was in San Francisco.
Was
just
where?
before the fire.
Uh-huh.
Or was it the earthquake?
Well,
It
both.
was one of those things.
Hmm.
I guess the earthquake came before the fire, as I remember.
Yes.
So we didn't get on that time either.
Uh-huh.
And we disbanded the act and never set foot in the theater again.
Hey,
We
now.
did set foot in Grauman's Chinese, and we left 2 shoes there.
Hey,
2
now.
left shoes we left there.
Uh-huh. payoff.
Then we went overseas. Remember 1928?
Yes, I was in the infantry. What were you in, Gregory?
I was in 8 months that time.
Oh, yes, I remember.
We toured all of the great capitals, played before the crowned heads, got crowns. We played all over Europe, and then hit out for the Orient. We were appearing in Baghdad, as I remember.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait. The time you and I were in Baghdad, Bob, we were in the French Foreign Legion.
That's right, we were, and we just come off stage.
We took a 3-day leave and went to Baghdad.
Right.
What a wonderful time we had, huh?
Dad was kind of mad, but we did it, though.
Oh, stop that nonsense. We did a wonderful time. I remember so much about those good old days, Bob. Mm-hmm. But I don't believe the people listening want to hear about them. If you'd like to hear about it, we're going to publish a book called Dear Old Days.
The Good Old Days.
And, I don't know, maybe we can put it on Unbreakable Vinyl.
We'll try to do that. Get it out to you by return mail.
Well, what have we got here, Bob? This song.
This is our latest song sensation, one that's big across the nation.
Uh-huh. Why don't we call in the Lumbago trio to sing it?
Well, we will, but we'll just have to have 2 of them today.
All right. 2 of the Lumbago brothers, then, if they'd come in.
Now, till next New Year's at this same time, this is my
Guy Lumbago.
Guy Lumbago, Barno, my Royal Canadians, wishing you a very happy New Year. For Carmen.
Thanks.
Victor.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Lieber.
You've been great.
Rosemary.
Thanks.
And all the other members of our band. And now into our great song by our trio, which is only 2 people.
You told a lie, I believed you.
Can it be different?
Look what you've done to my heart.
You're doing the introduction.
The phone just rang.
You're doing the harmony part with no air.
Yes, Mr. Harmon.
Well, there is an air about it, but...
What? That was Bob.
It was not.
Yes. I was busy reading a newspaper.
The Traveler.
The Herald. Yes, sir. All righty. I'll do better.
Let's try it right from the top of the page. Look what you done, my baby. Look what you done, my child. Look what you done, my baby. You done gone and told me a lie. You told a lie, I believe you. Look what you've done to my heart. You told a lie, I believed you. I was a fool from the start. I thought that you and I together. I never dreamed that we would ever part. But you told a lie, I believe you. And look what you've done to my heart. You told a lie. Oh, Mama's little baby loves short.
What? No, not Mama's little baby loves sugar and bread.
I sing under the name Nelson Eddy sometimes.
So look, Fred, if you're planning a big outing for a group of elks, it's a good season to bring the elks in out of the woods. We'd be glad to go there and sing.
We'll sing to our heart's content. It's Heart's Content, ladies, the new program presented each day at this time.
Incidentally, if you'd like a Heart's Content, we have several. Simply send your request to us, and we'll send you by return mail 1 Heart's Content. But now my announcer.
Now let's listen to Arthur Godfrey.
Oh.
Chesterfield satisfied with the dead men. Chesterfield over and over again. Milder, much milder, all smokers set free. Always by Chesterfield's ABC.
Oh, that's wonderful, Arthur. I didn't know Arthur was... You
I hope all you folks like the way I played my ukulele on that.
You like the way he plays it?
Wait a minute. Who's this fellow?
I'm the guy that sits in the background. You can't see me, but I played a ukulele. The one Godfrey strums doesn't have no strings in it.
Oh, you mean you're the one who actually makes the noise?
I'm the guy.
Ukulele,
yes, sir. My name is Lyle Gum Jr.
Lyle Gum Jr.,
I'm the ukuleleist, and Arthur, he just makes with
He
the
makes
movement.
like it. Well, I've noticed he holds that down under that table so you can't really see
Well,
it.
he tried to use a player ukulele, but everyone could see the pedals going, you know?
Sure. Well, I don't think there's much call for that instrument anyway.
They hired me, and I stand at the back of the curtain.
Oh,
And nobody gets to see me, but, you know, I can play it off in the alley after the show.
We're glad to give you credit where credit is due.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. And so, take your ukulele. Would you like to play us a ukulele solo right now?
Oh, I don't think so. I didn't have to bring it along, only I just wanted to come in here and straighten you out on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks a lot for doing that very same thing.
Incidentally, I'm now handling Buster Crab in the East, in case you want him for an Elks outing.
Well, we've also booked ourselves out for things like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
there'll be competition, really.
I'm not East. I'm just kind of New England representative.
I see. For Buster, huh?
Sure.
How's he doing? What's his last picture?
Rin Tin Tin, go home. I think. And I don't remember. I mean, they don't keep me up to date on that. I don't get variety very
I saw a
often.
picture of his in 1935. I thought it would be his last, but he made several after that. But now it's 1:14. Time for the other stations to join us. One moment, please.
Let's listen. Wait a minute, Bill. Why don't we listen to Bill Green play one of his great piano selections? Bill, you know, is a marvelous piano player in his own right. As Mr. Wilson is an accomplished organist, Mr. Wilson again is out ill, and we hope that he'll be back with us tomorrow. Or if not,
I doubt if he will, friends, because it's Saturday and he doesn't like to break up a long weekend.
Well, if he doesn't want to come back up from New York to be here for tomorrow, I hope he certainly will be here Monday.
And if you need more aspirins, Ken, you know where we are.
Sure. Well, anyway, getting back to Green, who we have with us today, is a very accomplished piano player. I was reading where someone thought he was one of the greatest piano players they had. Sonny Schuyler.
Oh, well, everybody who's played with Bill here, that Bill.
They come away from Bill raving, friends.
They do.
So why don't we put him to the test? What'll you play, Bill? Something nice.
Well, he's modest. He doesn't want to mention the title.
All right, you play something.
The song won't sound like what it's supposed to.
We'll all guess what it is. He wants you to meet Ralph Sigwald in a 10-round go in Kansas City, New Year's Eve. What do you think about that?
I think he'll take him up on that.
Isn't that wonderful?
Boy, you're on the road to success. You've got a long ladder to climb, Bill, but you've got onto the first rung, and a lot of luck to you. And now let's go over, have a brief reprise of each of our contestants today.
Please. We have enough contestants all the time. I'd like to talk briefly, friends, about automobiles.
First, we heard from young Arthur Godfrey, who sang with his ukulele, sang a song about something or other. Will you run over reprise, Arthur, of that?
Being satisfied women and men, Chesterfield over and over again. Milder, much milder, all smokers set free. Always by Chesterfield's ABC.
Then we had the man who really plays the ukulele.
Thanks, folks.
And then finally we had little Billy Green, the piano player, who played...
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Now let's have...
Mighty grand being here with you.
Audience applause for Billy Green.
All right. Throw him out.
And then for the Lyle Gum Jr.
He's nowhere.
Ukulele player.
He's nowhere, that guy.
And finally for Arthur himself.
Thunderous applause.
Now a word for mine, Algie.
Thank you, friends. Say, here's an announcement from the Gila Motors. That is, Gila Motors, who are Oldsmobile Cadillac dealers. Or Gila Motors is a Cadillac Oldsmobile dealer, let's put it that way. And they're located at 43 North Beacon Street in Watertown Square. Now, Gila has a great cleanup going on. The place has got out of hand out there. They're going to try and tidy up a little for Christmas. Oh, no, a great cleanup sale on 1949 Oldsmobiles now in progress. I'm sorry. I didn't think huge allowances.
Yes, Mr. Healer.
Hang up, Bob.
Okay.
Show them that we're independent.
Should I hang up on Mr. Healer?
No. Oh, no.
I'll talk to you.
Soft soap them, will you? Huge allowances.
Soft soap, Mr. Healer?
Big reductions and easy terms.
Oh, it's pretty soft.
Only, tell them tell them we left it in water overnight and it's real gooey.
He left it in water overnight.
Only $300 to $500 down. Now, are you in the market for a car and haven't bought one yet? Are you? Well, go out and look in the garage if you don't know.
We'll wait.
We'll wait. You go out, look in the garage, and find out if you've bought a car or purchased a car.
Find out if you bought an Oldsmobile in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, will you go out, friends, please?
Well, some of you may have and not have known it, see?
Sure. Will you do that?
Now, while you're doing that...
While we'll wait for them. We can do something else. And when they come back, just talk into your radio loudspeaker. We'll hear you.
Yeah, well, real loud, so we'll hear all of you.
Sure. You see, we have a reverse technique. You know, all microphones really are speakers anyway. You could use the microphone as a speaker. Of course, there wouldn't be much of a microphone after, but technically it could be done.
In other words, we can tune in on anybody who's listening to us. For instance,
you don't know that, friends, do you?
A typical
we hear a lot of those remarks you make.
A typical remark being made right now by a listener in Arlington. I was monitoring.
What are those two guys anyway? What do you think they are?
Try another one, will you? Try Newton. Let's see if we can find somebody out there.
I wonder who they are.
Well, so far we haven't.
I told you not to turn on the radio.
Maybe the
sundown.
I think the people are back now. They've discovered whether they have an automobile or not.
All right, so you haven't, huh? Well, okay. You're in the market for a car, then. And you're lucky if you haven't bought one, because you can go and get it at Healer Motors.
How about sand soap, Mr. Healer?
What'd he say?
He didn't like that either.
Oh. Be sure and investigate this offer.
No soap, huh?
It's sensational. This opportunity presents itself only once a year. So be wise and be thrifty. Buy a 1949 Oldsmobile at Healer Motors. Healer. Healer Motors, your Oldsmobile Cadillac dealer, 43 North Beacon Street, Watertown Square. Open evenings till 9, Saturday afternoon until 5. And Healers have those cardboard Cadillac bodies in, so if you want to buy an old Oldsmobile and put a new, shiny cardboard Cadillac body on it, you can, at a very slight additional cost.
It's a fine audience we've got. I gave them the snicker signal, and they didn't utter a sound.
Oh, for goodness sake.
They're supposed to snicker at that.
Well, who can snicker when you hold up a snicker? People don't realize that when you hold up a sneaker, they're supposed to snicker. Or something. Well, that's all beside the point, and getting back over here to where we'd like to broadcast the basketball game that's taking place now, friends, out there at the arena between the Pulse Normal squad and the subnormal teachers, the great rivals, and we'd like to take you out there now to our play-by-play announcer, Cleo Sturdley.
Thanks, Ed. Good evening, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're seated here in the broadcast booth. It's very comfortable.
I'm your assistant. Anything I can do?
My assistant is seated here next to me.
The guy in number 4 down there is tall, ain't he?
They're both tall, those centers down there.
His name is Crumlett.
Which one?
The tall one.
Number 5? 4. We'll refer to them by numbers from here to make it a little more convenient for you people.
That's a better idea.
Right. Now, here we go. They're throwing the ball in the air. The tall fella hits it, and it goes way back to that little short... No, he hasn't got it anymore. He's dribbling.
Number 8 has it.
8 has it, and you all know him.
He's dribbling, too.
And now... Now the other team has it. And he's dribbling. Oh, he's dribbling the wrong way.
Incidentally, with all this dribbling, will somebody around get me my overcoat?
Now they're going down toward the basket, which is suspended overhead.
It's a cute basket filled with goodies.
Yes. Now they go. Oh, somebody else has got. Number 14 has it this time.
Number 5.
Number 5 has it. No, he passes it to number 7, I believe. And now word from my sponsor as they're getting this basket.
Fritz, have you ever thought about eating?
He got the basket, incidentally.
If you ever think of eating, always ensure or make sure that you have food in the house. You'll like it, boy, for eating anyway.
Lee, there's a line failure west of Denver, and so I returned you to my studio.
Some food you can wash dishes with. I don't know, but maybe. Hope it makes sense for you.
Here in Boston, we present a brief piano Phil.
And here he is, friends, brief piano Phil. Come on over here, Phil, and say hello to everyone.
Thank you very much, Lee.
Oh, stop, Phil. Gee whiz, I don't know. I sometimes...
I'd like to just advertise my piano course, if you don't mind.
Oh, what's that?
I'm offering this course at the spectacularly low price of not $2, not $3, not $4.
$7.
$75.
Oh, $75.
Now, before you take the course, you may sound like this when you play the piano. Now, after you've had my piano book for 1 week, you sound like this. Then we clear up a few of the technicalities of the thing, and after 2 weeks, you sound like this.
That's it. That's it. After 1 year, you play the piano like this.
See, the first 2 weeks are the hardest.
But they never learn a song, always up and down the scale.
It's always piano breaks that you send for.
Incidentally, friends, how about your brakes? Get your piano brakes on your automobile.
Use new departure piano brakes. They're better.
When you pull up to a red light, just think, piano will play. Isn't that wonderful? So send for your piano brakes today. You'll like them.
Address Brakes, WHTH, Boston.
No fluid necessary with piano brakes. They'll last the lifetime of your car. All right? Now then, how about the commercials? We all through in the commercial department?
Well, I don't have a schedule. I haven't had one since last Tuesday.
Well, then I guess we are?
We are all through.
We've been assured by a commercial department representative who ran in and frowned at us that, yes, that is all for the day. And incidentally, I wish some of our salesmen would stop wearing those green visor caps. Don't you, Bob?
Yes,
I wonder why they wear them.
Doesn't look very tidy.
Well, it looks all right, but I don't know. It just doesn't lend itself to the atmosphere. I think maybe if they wore hats pulled down over their right eyes, it'd be more appropriate.
Why do they walk around with slide rules, too? I've noticed that lately. I think they're all taking math courses. They want to be technicians.
Well, what do you use a slide rule for? Slide? Don't you slide on them?
No, I didn't know you could.
Well, that's what they're for. At least that's what I always thought to. I have my backyard filled with them. When we don't have snow, we put the sled on the slide rule.
Oh, wow.
It's fun that way. And we go like 60 sometimes.
I wish we had more entertainment to offer this afternoon, friends.
We have, fortunately. We have here this afternoon a gorgeous singer. I'd like to present Gwinnett Sturdley. Good luck.
Gwinnett, how are you?
Hi.
Nice to have you up here. We have a few minutes to kill, and I'm sure you can do it.
Well, I'm not prepared to sing, but I would like to read a poem.
A poem? Would you like musical background?
Please.
I'll play a little something from...
Oh, I don't want that. No. Speak to him, will you please?
What would you like?
What kind of language do you use when you speak to him?
Well, we have to write down his instructions. What kind of... You tell me what kind, and I'll pass the word along.
Be angry, yet restrained.
Angry yet restrained music, please. I don't think he understands the word.
What I mean, Bill. Whoops. You're very mad at this fellow when you meet him. You say, "Hi there, how are you?" You see the feeling? Could you put that into music, please? We're going to use it in a minute.
Hey!
That's not so good.
Hey!
See, that's wonderful. That reminds me of opera. And when I think of opera, I always think of you, Bob.
Well, thanks, Ray.
Your portrayal as Figaro, Barber of Seville.
I did that, well, not only for him, but I was barber to quite a few people.
You were? Tell me about them.
Yes, Fendi.
Oh, no, not that barber. I mean the other type barbers. I mean haircut type.
Well, of course, Figaro was the biggest job I had.
Can you hear Bill Green, everybody? Good.
You notice Bill moved his own microphone over there today, so nobody would miss a single note.
Isn't that wonderful? Well, let's listen to him. See, just like like I figured. The minute you turn the spotlight on, he stops playing.
Mm.
Bill, when you see the cameras focused on you, smile, and then keep on playing, and we'll tell you when to stop. We hold up the sign over at this end of the studio, you see?
So you don't want the sign to come into focus on the camera.
No, just sit down, Bob. I'm kind of tired of standing.
Yeah, I am, too.
All right.
It's been a long day.
I'd rather sit down anyway, but, of course, for radio programs, you always have to stand up. I don't know
do
why.
right about face it when you leave the
In the
microphone.
movies, they always stand up. I suppose that's why we do it.
I guess so.
I don't even know what's going to happen at 1:30. Of course, I know the news will happen, but before that, I don't have any idea. Down the hall? Good.
Why don't we just leave everything up to them from here on out, huh?
Okay. Tell everybody what it is, will you, Bob? I have to run. That's a train.
What
Boy,
is
they're
it?
heavy to catch.
What is it?
Huh?
What is it?
It's a public service program.
A public service program.
Bob and Ray.
It's called. Bill Green plays the piano. Ken Green wasn't Wilson. Ben Wilson wasn't here today. We'll be here tomorrow, same time, 1 o'clock. Matinee with Bob and Ray from WHCH in Boston, which is in Boston.